Hello, y'all, and welcome to a new episode of the Fastlane Podcast. It's your host, Game Over Tapes, alongside a special guest, Jake, who not only did it once, no, it wasn't enough. He did it again. We have Jake did it again here. And we have a really cool topic.
Yes.
Yes?
Very,
Yes. We have a very cool topic to talk about today.
similar to the last podcast that was just with us two.
Yeah. We're going to do some sort of retrospective on the whole Forza Horizon franchise from 1 to 5.
This is quite a nice format because you don't have to edit some long-ass essay video, and it doesn't have to be too overly complicated, but rather a casual conversation about it. And I don't know, I think it's just a really cool format. It kind of happened by accident last time with that Ghost Era thing. And I think whenever we meet up for a podcast episode, I think we can do this about more games. And I think it's a really, really cool idea. And I thought the Forza Horizon series was the next best series to do this with. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, same. It's a fascinating franchise that marked a before and an after in my childhood. Not childhood, but teenage years. And I had lots of fun making the retrospective with the Ghost Era games, like 2015, Payback, Heat, and it's been a nice chat, really organic, and I'm looking forward to talk about Forza Horizon 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and maybe, just maybe, talk about our hopes for the future, the future installments. Not installments, but the 6th one.
Sounds like a good time to me. I think I want to kind of start this. If this sounds good to you, is I want to start this in whenever we introduce a game, I think we should address our history surrounding it, how you got introduced to it, what you thought at first, how it's changed over time, and I think I think that would be a really cool way to do it, especially with Horizon 1. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Sure, I'm gonna go first.
All right.
So, in my case, I discovered that Forza Horizon was a thing in 2016. Wow. I remember seeing Forza Horizon 3's trailer and just being, amazed at the graphics, at how it looked like. And doing a quick fast forward to 2018, I got Forza Horizon sealed for the Xbox 360 for less than $2.
Yikes. Well,
which is
a good yikes for sure. You're not gonna find that price
steal.
now. It was absolute steal.
Yeah, and I remember playing it for the first time on a rainy afternoon in 2018, and man, the first time the opening song played, the Chemical Brothers one, I was absolutely pumped right from the start. And then every day, the remix, that's that moment right there is a before and an after in the racing game scene. It's gonna be recognized as one of the iconic quote-unquote scenes, maybe in the future. But just racing through the forests.
It already is, let's be real. It already is.
It is. It kind of is. And racing through the forests of Colorado and the highways, then going to the dinner with all the cars parked and hearing the radio hosts, that is something that I really miss about Forza Horizon. It didn't really feel like that in the latest ones, but it's gonna be a topic for when we reach those games later in the podcast. But yeah, it was way more of a diamond in the rough kind of game for me, because that changed my music taste as I know it since then. It's I got into more stuff like alternative music, kind of drum and bass, and honestly, that was the best thing that could have happened, because I still have that music taste, and I wouldn't change it for anything.
So would you say that was your introduction to Forza Horizon 1? Because if you said you were introduced to Horizon in 2016 to Horizon 3, but how were you introduced to Horizon 1? Because we want to start out with the first game. I want that full scope.
Well, my brother brought a Xbox 360. He bought one with 2 controllers, so that was a really good deal. and we were looking at games to get, and I was like, hold on, does Forza Horizon have games in the 360? Let me check. And then I found Forza Horizon for $2 and free shipping, which was a godsend. You know, it was like the planets aligned for me to try that game. And when I tried it, holy shit, it was something I never played before. Like, I played my fair amount of Need for Speeds, of Burnouts, of Motorstorms, of any racing game franchise you could imagine before that point. But there was never anything like Forza Horizon. You can, like, debate that Test Drive Unlimited was Forza Horizon before Forza Horizon, but it didn't really nail it, in my opinion. Forza Horizon did it later, but did it better. That's my point. And it nailed the American youthful festival in the summer way better than any other game could have done it, in my opinion. And to me, that game is like lightning in a bottle. Because it came out in the perfect time, in like the best time possible. On the rise of indie music, alternative music, electronic music, dubstep. It's a time capsule, literally.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those most, like, I feel like, I hate to use this word sometimes, but cultured racing games, and I feel like probably the first Forza Horizon as well as Need for Speed 2015 are probably the like most two games that I would consider cultured in the 2010s decade for the racing genre.
Yeah, true. I can agree with that. And you can feel the amount of passion it went into the game. Like, they had Rob the Bank in it, which is always a topic we bring up anytime we're talking about the music in Forza Horizon, because that guy is so good at curating music, and he knows his shit. He's a DJ at a festival, so he knows his shit. And
it led to just the greatest soundtrack in racing game history, but I'm going to leave that part for later when I talk.
Yeah, and the last thing I want to mention about Forza Horizon 1 and how I discovered it, and the whole lore surrounding it, that game came to me in a really difficult part of my life. It was truly a horrible... 2018 was terrible at
2018 sucked some badass.
But yeah, 2018 was not a good year for me, and that game kind of lifted my spirits, as a way to put it. And it's just really special, and I don't know, down to the characters, to the radio hosts, to the environments. Like, I know you mentioned that Colorado, like the map from Forza Horizon 1 is not just Colorado, but also Utah and Arizona, I think.
Yes, and that's something I'm going to get really deep into when I go to my section.
Oh, I'm not gonna let you. I'm just gonna speak myself. But, just kidding. But, yeah, basically, they nailed a lot of the things. Of course, it's a game from 2012. There's gonna be some stuff that aged kinda badly. Like, some radio hosts' comments are kinda weird.
Oh my god, Phoenix Fox is so horny.
He's literally me. Like, I'm Phoenix Fox. I'm Phoenix Fox.
It's like you stop a song, he starts thirsting, you start another song, you go, what the fuck just happened, and you keep driving. That's Forza Horizon 1 for you.
Yeah, like there's the normal ones with Scott Tyler or it wasn't Amy Simpson.
It wasn't Amy Simpson, but the other the one for Pulse, she was kind of sus too, to be honest. Like, she wasn't.
Oh, it was Holly Cruz.
Yeah, Holly Cruz was also not PG. She wasn't Phoenix Fox, but she wasn't PG either. But Scott Tyler was the only PG character in that game.
And you know what's funny? This is like something that happened here with a Latin Spanish dub. Even though Amy Simpson and Holly Cruz are different characters, different radio hosts from the same radio station, they have the same actress. For the...
Oh, that's interesting.
For the Latin Spanish dub. So basically they're the same person, something like that.
Yeah, in Latin America, they are technically the same person.
Something like that. But anyways, I think I'm done with Forza Horizon 1. I think it's 10 out of 10. Even though it
Yes.
aged terribly in some aspects and it's not as intuitive as the newest ones, that game it has my heart. And it's gonna stay that way until I die. And I love that game. But yeah, your turn.
So Forza Horizon 1, I have a very interesting history with. First off, I would like to give a quick opinion and say that Forza Horizon 1 is in my top 5 racing games of all time and in my top 10 video games of all time. For my top 5 racing games of all time, it's in my number 4th spot, just behind Need for Speed Hot Pursuit and one above Dirt 2. But Forza Horizon 1 absolutely deserves a spot in one of the most iconic racing games of all time, in my opinion. And it's one of the most influential, one of the most special, and it also sports an atmosphere like no other. I know everyone harps on about it, but you have to play it to understand it. So to start my history with the game, with the first Forza Horizon, is actually Forza Motorsport 4. So obviously I was always into racing games as a kid, and in 2011, Christmas 2011, I had received Forza Motorsport 4 as a gift, and I played Forza Motorsport 4 so much. I loved Forza 4. It was one of my favorite games at that time, and I was a fan enough to where like Forza 4 was pretty much like the first game where I had really gotten into the online scene. Like I played like lobbies online all the time, but I also went onto the Forza website, Forza forums. I started meeting friends off of the Xbox Live network and all that kinds of stuff through the game, and that was my first online gaming experience like that. For a lot of people, it was Halo 3, but I'm, not always the average gamer there. It was Forza Motorsport 4 for me, and Forza 4 had one of the coolest feelings of community, and I think it had a stronger community feel than any Forza Motorsport that came afterward. Horizon, that's a different topic because they have much bigger communities, but that's a whole nother rabbit hole to go into. But my point is that I was so into the community of Forza 4, I stayed up to date, and that extended to the Forza News website, ForzaMotorsport.net News. So, how Forza Horizon was originally revealed was through a teaser on the Playground Games website, and it was a cut-up version of the game's intro movie with the Chemical Brothers song, and then there's like this like Lamborghini Aventador that like drives off and it cuts Forza Horizon, and there's no logo. It's like some like just aerial white text that just says Forza Horizon.
Yep.
And we didn't really have a great idea of what it was, but it did give the impression of we're getting an open world Forza game. And this is it's a very interesting lead onto something, but the full trailer was revealed at E3 2012, and I didn't watch E3 back then, but I did watch the trailer for that when it went up on YouTube, and I watched it over and over and over and over again. And the other side of the story is that I can't take this part out. The Need for Speed Most Wanted 2012 trailer was revealed at the same E3, I think on the same day. At least I saw it around the same time. So these two games, Need for Speed Most Wanted and Forza Horizon, were both competing for my attention as an 11-year-old. And both of them appealed to me greatly. As Need for Speed Most Wanted, the original was my very first racing game, my very first video game of all time. I loved Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. That was my favorite Need for Speed up until then. And I was obsessed with Forza Motorsport 4. So obviously, this is a recipe for amazing competition. So, for a while I was wondering, what game do I get? I was really excited for both of them. But weirdly enough, as the release cycle was starting to go on for both of these games, the hype cycle was really developing. Most Wanted, Need for Speed was really getting my attention. And that's the game that I downloaded the demo for, and I played over and over again, even though it had a 30-minute time limit. And I was just really excited for Need for Speed Most Wanted 2012. And I think that game turned out great. I love Most Wanted 2012. But I actually had received both games at the same time for Christmas 2012. And I actually still I'm going to send you to the pictures. You can put up on the podcast. But I have a picture from Christmas 2012 of me getting both games for my 360 on the same day, and I was really excited for Most Wanted 2012. At that moment, I didn't give a shit about Forza Horizon. It had completely lost my interest at that point. But my dad was interested in Forza Horizon, so he actually wanted to play it first, and he played Forza Horizon first. And then I'm like, I want to play Most Wanted 2012, and I put the disc in later, and I got to play Most Wanted, and I was really excited. So yeah, I played the living crap out of Most Wanted 2012, and it wasn't until like just a little bit later until I realized like, wow, Forza Horizon really is that good. And I told my dad that, and he's like, yup. You know, like,
Yep,
yeah,
that's it.
he didn't literally say that, but it was kind of like, yeah, that was the idea of what was going on. It's like, originally I was like, nah, Forza Horizon, meh, you know. And I think where that actually came from is that there's an interesting part of Forza history, is that originally Forza Horizon, among the Forza fan base, there was a sizable, like, it was kind of like this 50-50 thing, where half of them were so excited that Forza was finally going open world because we loved motorsport, but the other half was worried because it's like, oh, they're doing this lame, trendy festival shit with their open world, and you know, we don't want motorsport to end. That's kind of was the fear factor, was is that they didn't want their beloved franchise to go away if Forza Horizon was successful. So a lot of people tend to shat on Forza Horizon within the Forza community. Back then, I was one of those people that I'm like, I don't want motorsport to die. Which I think it also gained extra sympathy from me because my Motorsport 4 disc had broken in June of 2012, and
No.
I think I just wanted to play Motorsport 4 again. I was mad at Forza Horizon. Later, in June-ish of 2013, I got more into Forza Horizon, and I definitely knew that it was a good game, but I still didn't really love it. I wasn't really feeling it too much. Still, I just kind of wanted my Forza Motorsport 4 back, and I think that definitely influenced a lot of my opinion. Weirdly enough, it led to me and a friend of mine back then named Dylan. We met off Forza Motorsport 5, and both of us were actually tended to be Forza Horizon haters. Sort of like, we joked about the game a lot. Like, we had this like inside joke that like, oh, it was about the festival setting, right? And we would say like, oh yeah, they had like a Dance Dance Revolution minigame that was cut out from the game. Like as a side
Oh
thing,
my
because
God.
they didn't want to put the focus on the cars or whatever. That was our joke because we were both Horizon haters. But later, as time went on, Dylan stopped the Horizon hate actually, and he really got into Forza Horizon 1. But for me, it wasn't until 2016 came around and Xbox put Horizon 1 on the backwards compatible list on the Xbox One, free with Games of Gold, to promote Forza Horizon 3, to get people to play this previous game, get them excited for the Forza Horizon 3 release just 2 or 3 months later on. So
I didn't know they did that.
yeah, it was pretty much a promotional lead for Horizon 3 that's like, hey, Horizon 1's going to get delisted. You can play it now on your Xbox One for free with Games for Gold, digital copy before Horizon 3, to see if, you know, you would like this kind of thing. I had replayed Horizon 1 digitally through the Games of Gold program on the Xbox One, and I fucking fell in love with it and realized just what I was missing out on. I mean, it's not like I hadn't played the game before, but it hadn't clicked with me up until then. I realized how amazing the game really was. The soundtrack had clicked with me. The location I thought was amazing. I just really enjoyed the general progression of everything. Me and my friends were playing it online back then, doing like just some like dumb lobbies and stuff like that, because online, of course, was working back in 2016. But yeah, I absolutely had a renaissance with Horizon 1 in 2016, and the fact that it was part of the hype cycle for us, and for me, the Forza Horizon 3 was huge. It was just this huge snowball of emotion. And yeah, it really led me to really think, yeah, Horizon 1 is really one of the greats. Yeah, back when, yeah, just doing that second replay completely changed my opinion. I didn't understand why I gave the game such a hard time initially, but I guess I chalked it up to like, wow, I was a stupid kid, you know?
Yeah.
But it's funny because my relationship with Forza Horizon 1 actually goes even further. With every game, time goes on, and you start to think like, I know this is great, but I really hope that like I can replay this after I haven't played it in like a few years, and really, confirmed my memory that it really was as good as I thought it was. And when the game was starting to be playable on the Xenia emulator on the PC a couple years ago, I played through some of it again and again. My suspicion was confirmed that the game is amazing. And every time I have hopped on, whether it's on the Xbox or whether I try it on the emulator again or whatever, I get blasted with a sense of immersion that I don't feel in any other racing game. Now, obviously, in terms of actual immersion to the racing experience, obviously Gran Turismo 7 Virtual Reality covers that better than everything else does. But in terms of location immersion, in terms of the setting immersion, what Forza Horizon creates is stronger than anything else, and I think that is really the thing that is most unique about Forza Horizon that no other racing game has nailed, including its sequels. And that's kind of where my relationship with it develops even further in two ways. Where so I had gone to last year. I went to Arizona for the very first time. I went to the Grand Canyon, and I went to the city of Sedona. And funnily enough, Forza Motorsport, the older games, have a track called Sedona Raceway. So that's pretty cool. So that's a raceway fictional track set in Sedona. So I went to the city of Sedona. I went to Scottsdale as well. And when I was heading to Sedona, I started to be like, what the fuck am I looking at? What the fuck is happening? Because I had realized that Forza Horizon wasn't just set in Colorado, but that it was also set in Sedona. Because the Red Rock section of the map of Forza Horizon is literally Sedona. But they just weren't willing to say it for some reason. I know this sounds like some conspiracy theory, but when I was in Sedona, and like literally, I look around me and everything here looks just like Red Rock. It is literally the land of the Red Rocks, and it's called Red Rock in the game. It is so not subtly Arizona, but it even, made me feel even further about this game because of like, whoa, it completely changed my emotion when I headed into a real life city of Sedona, because I was like, what the fuck? I'm in Forza Horizon. What the fuck is going on? This is completely unreal.
It's real.
No, that's literally what it is. But they didn't say it because it's like you expect to have that emotion coming into Colorado. And funnily enough, in 2012, the same year Forza Horizon released, I went to Colorado and it sucked ass because we went in the winter. My family was not prepared for the winter, and my mom got sick like the day we got there, so she wasn't able to do anything with us, and I hated that. And I didn't like bundling up like 5 jackets to go in the cold. And then I puked on the way back from the plane. So that 2012 Colorado trip was not what the game had promised me. So
True.
That the Arizona trip of 2023 was much more accurate to what I wanted to a Forza Horizon vacation. And we drove a lot on the trip, so that kind of added to it. But yeah, heading into Sedona, it felt unreal experiencing what was Red Rock from Forza Horizon in real life. They based off Sedona, and they didn't say what it was, and that made me go, what the fuck? Why didn't they say that? And so that was just such a weird experience that I'll send you some of my Sedona photos, and you can put them up on screen when I was saying some of the stuff earlier, if you want to.
Yeah.
But really to drive the point in that, so the Red Rock is Sedona, and Forza Horizon's map is actually a mixture mostly of Colorado and Arizona with a bit of Utah, but it's only called Horizon Colorado, I assume for simplicity purposes in the branding, but I still find it really weird that they didn't say anything at all. From what I've seen, I have not seen a single mention of that, so that was definitely something that furthered my relationship with it. So that's kind of my history of Horizon. There's some things I want to talk about with the game that kind of delve in further with some things. But yeah, that was the story of everything in my relationship with this one single game.
Okay, continue.
When it comes to the game itself, obviously it's still my favorite in the Forza Horizon series, with another game being my second close favorite. But Horizon 1, I think specifically, does something that no other game in the series does, and everyone has already filled out the rest of the sentence. that I am going to say the festival atmosphere, and that is true, but that is not what I'm meaning to say. The game does in fact do the festival atmosphere and convincing the player that you are at the Horizon Festival better than any other game. Obviously, there's a lot of characters and that really, like, I think set the tone a bit more. Really, feeling like more in the world, like radio hosts and competition hosts and just stuff like that. People that are running the races, and you don't get to know as many of those in the later games, I think. Or at least they don't feel as immersive and real as they do in the first game. And then the second one is stuff like there's a lot more festival decoration, things that make it more obvious. The really cool like arches when you go into the festival like primary area in the center of the map, those green arches. Then you have the race tents everywhere for actually setting up an event, and like those make a lot of sense. I think every way they've done it afterward, where it's just some just nothing, and then you just hit the button that pops up on the UI. It's never felt as good as the race tents, but there's a lot of reasons why Horizon 1 does the convincing festival atmosphere better than the later games. But I think the part that I want to say that I feel like no one has said about Forza Horizon is actually something I've heard people say about Animal Crossing. I think...
what?
Yes, I think the first Forza Horizon has a lot of feelings from the environment to the color grading to the characters and the way they talk to the way you progress, and also a lot to the soundtrack. The greatest soundtrack in a racing game, and in my opinion, the greatest licensed soundtrack of any video game of all time. In my opinion, with my taste, I think Forza Horizon 1 really sells the feeling of getting out on your own in the first time. And you said this almost in a way of like the youthful atmosphere, and I think Forza Horizon 1 sells this idea, like I said, of getting out on your own for the first time, by yourself, stuff like that. And like a lot of those feelings I feel like are encapsulated in the game, and I've seen people say that with Animal Crossing. It feels like you're finally getting out on your own for the first time, and I feel the same with Forza Horizon in a very specific way, and I wonder if anyone else is going to relate to that.
Adding my 2 cents in, it like the first one feels like a festival, like a living, breathing festival. Like you can notice it with the trailers where you sign up for the events, to the screen that shows every like picture presenting the event as a pamphlet or a leaflet, like they hand at the festivals. And even the sponsors, they had Bose, they have G-Shock, they had...
Yeah, sponsors aren't a thing in the newer games, and it's kind of weird. It just makes sense.
Like, you have shit like the Great Reapers, or shit like that, like the Horizon Raptors, stuff like that, and the old ones were more lifelike. They had real life sponsors like GoPro, stuff like that,
Yeah, it makes sense. Because actual racing events do that. They have sponsors, and that made Forza Horizon not just like they didn't like. Obviously, there's parts of it where they went for the music festival feel, but that is what made it feel like a racing event as well. That gave it its truly unique edge that they combined both of them.
And another thing I like, and that I find funny, is how grounded it is compared to the rest of the games. Picture the showcases. The showcase events, right? Like I think the most jumping the shark, quote unquote, event out of the showcase events is you racing against a plane, because you have like you racing against a hot air balloon, or you racing against a float of Mini Coopers. Those were the showcases, or you racing against a helicopter. It was cool. Like, I found it interesting because they were more grounded back then. And now it reaches the fantastical. It's unrealistic, but it's still fun. But, the ones from the first game were sick.
It's a different direction, and I think it's also well, another thing that makes it similar to Need for Speed 2015 is that everything, even if it's obviously still an arcade racing game, setting wise, you can imagine something like this taking place in real life. This can obviously happen, and I think that is definitely something that is part of Forza Horizon as well.
It's like what Sushilo said. They were like Top Gear challenges. Those like crazy things and challenges they used to make in the Top Gear TV show.
Mm-hmm.
It's something like that. It was more grounded.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And, you know, the vibes of the festival were unmatched. Like, you would be, like, cruising around in the canyons and you would see the festival in the distance.
Yep.
When it's nighttime, you could see the lights and the fireworks and the...
That framing is just so incredibly important, and that's something that I think, another thing that differentiates Horizon 1 so much is that you can't say that for any game that came afterward at all.
I don't know, Forza Horizon had that je ne sais quoi, that you don't know how to point it out. You don't know, like, and what to point your finger at to point what makes it special, you know? You can't put your pinky on it. It's just a mix of so many good stuff working in synergy to bring an experience that was trying to be done in the past, but it couldn't have. They didn't do it like Horizon did.
I mean, I think you actually did just put your finger on it. That it's all of these things in synergy. Of they went after very relatable but also high quality music. You know, music festivals were getting bigger around this time, but also combined it with more realistic racing events and stuff like the sponsors and having all the racing tents, you know, really sold that feeling. And it's all these things that were carefully put together that created this experience that they just haven't really tried to replicate again. I don't think it's that they can't do it again. And I think that kind of, that the idea that they haven't been able to do it again kind of sells people on that, like, wow, we can't ever get this again and then everything sucks. Now I think they can 100% do this again if they wanted to. I just don't think they've tried to.
Like, they can like pave a lot of highways with the right vision. Like, they have to get a good director now. Like, now that I forgot the name of the guy that now has the Maverick Studios, like, I forgot his name.
Yeah, but the idea of a good director here is very blanket term, because let's say if you wanted to do that realistic music festival setting, and if that was the full-on vision, and Horizon 5 is what came out of that, then that was bad play on the dev team. That was a badly executed version of it. But I don't think any game afterward was trying to do that, so therefore you can't call out a bad director or a bad this or that, because I don't think they try to. I think they want to just develop the game part of it further, and you kind of see that very executed pretty well.
But I think I said everything I could have said about Forza Horizon 1. It's literally lighting trapped in a bottle for me.
Yep, yeah, they had everything. They had the event progression, just like you'd want from a game like that. They had, you know, enough cars to make it work. Not as much as later ones, but still enough to make it work. They had the right music at the right time, and enough of a secure, solid vision with execution of that vision to deliver a festival atmosphere that no other game has done afterward. Forza Horizon 1, one of the best racing games of all time. Easy. But yeah. So now where do we go from here?
Oh boy. I have a complicated story with this one. Holy shit. Okay, so Forza Horizon 2. It was a special game because it was a jump to a new generation. You know? Like, the franchise was like dipping its toes on the water of the next generation of consoles, and I think they nailed it. They did a really good job with Forza Horizon 2, and I want to bring up the fact that before being set in Italy and France, it was going to be in Sweden. Not Sweden, Switzerland. It was going to be in Switzerland.
Where'd you find this from? I've never heard of this, or at least I don't think I have.
In the cutting room floor. There's like a map they used in the dev team. There was like some sort of croquis, some sort of sketch of the map, and it was going to be in Switzerland. And They had a lot of concepts. Like Forza Horizon 1, they planned it to be in wasn't it Hong Kong?
Yeah, they were originally planned Hong Kong, and that would have been cool, but I think for a later entry. I think, you know what? I think if we did the timeline where Horizon still focused on the festival as much as one every single game, I think Hong Kong should have been the second game for sure.
Yeah, it would have been a really nice step forward. And don't get me wrong, I really love the Mediterranean feel of the second one. But the thing is, I didn't have a good impression. I didn't have a good first impression with Forza Horizon 2 because I played the 360 version.
What? Uh-oh.
It was all I had back then. Let me give you some context and some backstory to this. It was back in 2020, in the pandemic. I was I really wanted to try that game. I wanted to buy a copy of the game, and I couldn't. Until I could. I bought it from a cop, the CD was scratched, I tried to give it back to get a refund. I got the refund, but the cop was like, nah, keep the game. It was a PAL copy of the game. I live in an NTSC region, I couldn't have played that game even if I wanted to, and it was scratched to oblivion.
Wow.
And, I finally bought it digitally, and I had the time of my life during the first weeks. And then I started to hate it. I played that game for more than 90 hours, I think. And Forza Horizon 2 for the 360 is a pristine example of a horrible port. Sumo, they did what they could, but it was not enough. Come on. It was you played the 360 version. You played the 360 version of the game. They butchered it.
Forza Horizon 2 on the 360 is not just a bad port, it is a bad video game in general, and it is also the worst video game with the Forza name attached to it. No,
and
there's no
imagine
competition.
imagine having most of your radio stations removed. You just have Pulse, XS, and Base Arena. That's it.
Which, I mean, technically, if you're going from Horizon 1, there's no downgrade. But when you look at what Horizon 2 was supposed to offer with its, 7 radio stations on the Xbox One, yeah, it's not the same experience at all.
I missed out on Ninja Tune, on Innovative Leisure, Hospital Records. Levante, I couldn't give a fuck about Levante. I'm not into classical music. I played that game during a time period where I was terrible economically, my family wasn't good economically, and I was poor. I didn't have a job yet, and I used to talk with Jake and a couple of friends in the Fast Lane, which was a Discord server we had, and I remember them showing me how the game looked, the one version, and I cried. Dude, I remember crying and being like, man, I wish I could play this. I want to buy an Xbox One and play this. I'm missing out. And 3 years passed, and after I got a job, I saved money and I bought my own Xbox Series S. And Jake was good enough to game share a lot of games with me, and I got to try Forza Horizon 2, the real one. And holy shit, what a game. Seriously, what a game. It improves on a lot of stuff from the first one, but I could feel the disconnect from the festival right there. In the second game, I could feel it right there. And you could feel that it wasn't the same as the first one. It didn't have a huge how to explain it? It didn't have a huge laying ground for the festival. You think of Italy and France, and they're home of the most big electronic parties in there, all the good electronic music comes from France.
Yep.
And they could have done a lot of shit with that, and the only thing they kept the trailers for were for the bucket lists. That's the only thing I could remember the trailers being there for, just to sign up for the bucket lists. And
wait, the event tents and stuff like that?
Yes.
I don't remember those were the bucket list. I just remember the car sitting by the wayside.
Wait, no, those were in the 360 version.
Those were in the 360 version. The one version didn't even have them. The one version was just the car sitting.
Yeah, now I remember that. Holy shit, I'm getting my Dilla affected. I gotta play that game again. But the soundtrack in that game is not as good as the first one, but it's really good. Like really good selections. I feel Excess was almost peak Excess right there. Base Arena was fantastic in there. And Pulse, I remember telling you how I felt like a different vibe from Pulse from Forza Horizon 2 compared to the one from Forza Horizon 1. Like the second one felt more mellow. Like
Yeah.
Pulse and Forza Horizon 2 felt more mellow, more hipster in my point of view. But like it felt more chill, more like music to cruise around. And you know, the cutscenes in Forza Horizon 2 makes me miss the cutscenes from Forza Horizon 1 where they were CG.
In
Like
in
they
Horizon 2, there were only like 2 cutscenes. Like in the beginning of the like, and then there's the end one where after you finish like the Goliath or whatever, and there's Ben there to congratulate you or whatever.
Ben.
Yeah, there's very few cutscenes.
I remember the ones from the barn finds. Like
Oh, true.
the,
When the Ashley comes to help you out, yeah.
Ashley scared me. I don't know why. She gave me the ick. But it's funny because in the 360 version you would like park next to the barn find and then you could notice it was playing a video of like the cutscene. Like you could notice that.
Wait,
And
what? What?
yeah, it was like a like you could look like you could see the quality drop in the video from when you're parking next to the barn find, cuts to black, and then fades to the cutscene.
You're
and
talking
you can
about the
notice
360 version. This does not happen in the regular game.
Yeah, I'm talking about the 360
Your memory's
version.
still mixed
That's
up
what I
as
mean.
fuck, so half the stuff you tell me doesn't make any sense.
No, I'm telling you about the 360 version right
Okay,
now.
okay,
Not the one.
okay.
I was telling you in the
I'm
360
so
case.
lost. I'm so lost because it's okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, in the one it looks amazing. It looks great, but yeah, the quality is still missing from the cutscenes from Forza Horizon 1 because the storytelling in the first game was way better. In the second one, there's not much going on, and it's just a festival. But the cities, Nice, Montalino, Castelletto, San Giovanni, those are really good cities. Like it's a really cool map, and stuff like the ruins of the church or the aerodrome, the hangar, like those were really good scapes. They were really cool. You know, I find that this game felt like one step forward, half a step back.
Yeah, I kind of
felt
agree
like
with you.
It was good. It was really fun. The car selection was better than the first one, of course. It had more cars, more variety, and all that. And the tuning. You could tune the cars.
You could actually tune the cars, which in Horizon 1 mainly came to be an issue online when me and my friends would do drag races. We couldn't tune the gear ratio, so we would top out super quickly. So drag racing wasn't as fun in Horizon 1 because the tuning was limited, but in Horizon 2, oh my god, I'm going to get onto that later. There's a whole section of that game that's really interesting about that, but I'm going to let you finish.
Yeah, go on. Go on.
You want me to start? Okay. So Horizon 2. So obviously, 2013, I was still in my kind of half Forza Horizon hater phase, where it's like, damn, I don't understand this game. And I start to see rumors of a second game start popping up in early 2014. And I'm like, they wouldn't do a second Horizon. Motorsport's more successful. What? Why a second Horizon? Yeah, you see where we're going there. But a second Horizon game? And because kind of the idea of a sequel was very, very, very on or off the table. And then it comes to June E3 2014. I'm watching Xbox event live, and that trailer plays. And I'm not gonna lie, even though I was like, you know what, I didn't like the first one, but this looks hype as fuck. I thought it looked awesome, and I was immediately excited for it. And yeah, I just remember that scene of the 8.6 and the Skyline 34 drifting around the high hills and stuff like that, vividly imprinted into my brain from watching that trailer first. I'm literally in the same room right now as I was when I watched that trailer. It was it used to be like a media room, and then now we've turned it into my room in this house back in 2021. But in 2014, I was sitting on this like big couch we used to have, and I was on my really shitty ass Acer laptop watching it live in 720p,
Oh,
and just getting hyped through those shitty that hype song playing through those shitty speakers, and I was like, yeah, this is gonna be awesome, because I was into motorsport, and this kind of looked like all the stuff from motorsport that I liked. It felt like it was coming more into Horizon because it had a much bigger car list. You had the tuning coming in, and very importantly, very advanced, not very advanced, but a bit more expanded and immersive online functionality, which whether the online was an upgrade or a downgrade is going to be depend on who you ask first. I think for the series, it was an upgrade, and that's something I'm going to talk about in a sec. But I didn't get the game immediately, but I did get the game in November, shortly after my birthday. Pretty much got it for my birthday, and yep, I played the living shit out of it. I played the living shit out of Horizon 2. That game I was excited for. There was no I didn't get unexcited by the time. My hype didn't deflate by the time the game came out with Horizon 1, but Horizon 2 immediately snowballed into excitement. I played the shit out of Horizon 2. I did a bunch of the events. I did a lot of bucket lists. I bought a bunch of cars, and I free roamed so much. But one aspect of the game that you're not going to hear from Faku because you didn't experience it is the game's online, because the online was shut down last year, so you're not going to play it anymore. But I mean, even honestly, before last year, before it was shut down, when me and Joshua tried to play it for 2 or 3 years beforehand, it was pretty much completely broken. They had broken those servers up completely. But Horizon 2, one of its biggest new features versus Horizon 1 was its online functionality. And Horizon 1 had a kind of this legacy lobby system where you get into a lobby, you pick a race to start, or you pick your free roam settings and you hit the start button. Kaboom, easy. In Horizon 2, it was this much more seamless system, much like how Burnout Paradise works. It was very, very inspired by Burnout Paradise, the online system. And so you basically just hit the pause button, hit online free roam, and you're in the game with up to 12 other people. And this game's online at the time, I want to say it was nothing else, but that was kind of the case, because Horizon 1 online was nothing like it. And I played the shit out of it. I think probably the majority of, at least half my time in Horizon 2 back in 2014, 2015, when the game was newer, felt like it was played online. And I was kind of aggravated in a lot of ways online, because here's the thing. Horizon 2 has this one race online where, the abandoned airport area at the very top left of the map in Horizon 2?
Yes.
Online, you had a drag race there. So basically, how the system would work, it's not really the same in the newer games anymore, but it was like this in Horizon 3 as well, where I queue for an event, and people don't want to join it, because guess what they're doing? They're joining the other queued event that some kid put up for a drag race. Because all everyone did was drag race. And whenever the drag race was done, they queued up for another freaking drag race. And yeah, so the majority of my time online Horizon 2 was half spent in drag race free roam, and then the other half was in the online like regular playlist mode. And that's where a lot of cool stuff actually came into the map design, because Forza Horizon 2 had some amazing playground game arenas for the online. And just for context, Faku, I know you've only played the playground games events in Horizon 5, right?
4 and 5.
4 and 5? Okay, because 4 changed how they worked, and they're way more complex. Horizon 2, it had no healing system. It was not team dependent at all. There was way more free for alls, and I think they were at their most fun in Horizon 2 and Horizon 3. 4 and 5, I think I made the system a bit too complicated. But in Horizon 2 is where they first introduced the playground games events, and the freaking golf course was designed just for it. So the golf course, like playing like infected with people, and there was no healing. So whenever you hit someone with the infection, just another person got it, and it just spread to the whole crowd. Like it just worked how you think infected would work. And then there was the king event. I don't know if there was 2 crowns, but I think there might have been 1 or 2 crowns. And then you just stole it from people, and on stuff like the golf course and that like underground, that one underground area that you can drive around. That's like under this like big building. I forget where it is on the map, but if you've played a lot of Horizon 2, you'll know what I mean.
Wasn't it the castle?
Yeah, it was the castle. It was underground castle. That was another playground game arena.
You know what's funny? The golf course and the castle are not in the 360 version.
Of course they aren't. Of course they aren't.
And the docks. You can only get to the docks.
The docks was also another huge playground game arena.
Well, you can only get to the docks in the 360 version if you get the Fast and Furious DLC.
Yeah, which was developed by Playground Games, and the original 360 version was not. But yeah, Horizon 2, I think definitely improved the online versus Horizon 1. I played it so much more than Horizon 1 online. I think the lobby system is great for a lot of games, but I think for the Forza Horizon series, I think the online benefited a lot from the more immersive system, taking inspiration from Burnout Paradise, and that was such a huge improvement. Which kind of adds to my relationship with the game, because when it was new, I remember when Storm Island came out, and I was like, Mom, can I please have Storm Island? And it's like, no, wait till Christmas. And I'm like, no, I don't want to wait for Storm Island. And I tried so hard to get Storm Island. And then I got Storm Island, and it was just okay. But yeah, I was just excited for anything new to do in that game. And then the Fast and Furious expansion came out. That was a standalone game, and it had the Nitrous system. And I was, oh my gosh, Nitrous in Forza. That means they're going to have it in Forza Horizon 3. No, they didn't.
Well,
but,
man.
I wish they did. I think they honestly should have had that. But yeah, I enjoyed the living crap out of Horizon 2 when it was new. Because, see, the problem with Horizon 2 is that when the online got shut down, and the only thing you could do was single player, and you've played through the majority of the single player already, either you delete your save file, start a new one, or you're locked into doing championships indefinitely. Which leads me to believe that Forza Horizon 2 has the worst replayability of any racing game I've ever seen, because I can't just take a car in my garage and find an event to go race it. Horizon 1 isn't too great in this either, but the thing is, at least I can find, like, oh, an A-Class BMW, I want to drive that. Oh, there is an event for that, see? But in Horizon 2, I have to do a championship if I want to do one singular race. So if you want to hop on and actually race in that game, it's a gigantic hassle, and it just leaves me to free roam, which means I don't end up replaying it a lot because they made it so difficult to actually replay racing. So that's the odd part about Horizon 2, is that I enjoyed it so much when it was new. I loved it when it was new. I played so much of the online. I loved the soundtrack. It expanded my music taste. And like, as like a 14-year-old, I turned on like Hospital Records, and I was like, this is like the coolest thing ever. And it got me into like D&B, like drum and bass genre music. I loved Bass Arena. I thought Bass Arena was great. Pulse was great. Introduced me to the band Churches, with the Mother We Shared, Forza Horizon 2. So that station had a lot of great stuff. XS, I played a lot even. I really enjoyed that station. Gotta say, Come Closer by Miles Kane is one of my favorite ones on that station, but Out of the Black by Royal Blood has to be the best song on Horizon 2 XS for sure.
On God, dap me up virtually, but dap me up, bro. Like, Out of the Black is my favorite song from XS, as well as like Solemn Skies from childhood.
I don't remember that one, but I might hear it again if you say it again. But also, Ninja Tune had so much good stuff. Yes. I think my favorite song on Ninja Tune in retrospect is probably Take It Back by Toddler T. Oh my God, what a piano on that one. I didn't listen to much of Innovative Leisure back then, but I like it more now than I used to. Go.
In my case, my favorite song from Ninja Tune is True School.
Oh, True School's amazing. Yes.
Roots Manuva. That guy is underrated. Roots Manuva is so slick. I love him.
So slick.
Cold Cut.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Cold cut.
Yeah, cold cut.
But
And hold on.
as
Innovative. Sorry. Let me say this. Innovative Leisure. I just remember it for having like Bass Drum of Death or something like that. It had like 10 songs from those guys, and I thought it was okay. Hospital Records was sick.
Hospital Records in 2 was my favorite for years. Like until Horizon 3 came out. But yeah, Hospital Records on 2. Good God, what is my favorite song? I mean, Nocturne by Kino obviously is such a good title song, and that is Indecision. But for years, my favorite was "Move Around" by Camo and Crooked. I don't think it's my favorite anymore. If I have to give my favorite to a song in Hospital Records on Horizon 2 now, it would probably be Out of Nowhere by Kino. That one is such a vibe when you're driving around in the rain. Horizon 2 was also the first game to introduce dynamic weather in the series, and I think Horizon 2 has the best rain atmosphere in probably the entire series. I loved it when it was new. Yeah, even I felt like the rain atmosphere in even 3 was a downgrade, but everything else was definitely a downgrade after that. Not that like the drops look better or worse, but I just like the feeling of the way it looks more in 2. I think it just looks cooler. But yeah, loved Horizon 2 when it was new. Loved nearly everything about it. But then when you play the game now, and it's so hard to replay anything, it has a pretty repetitive and honestly kind of shitty campaign. So I think the actual replayability of the racing now, without the online capability where people just can do any race and do playlists and stuff like that, really ruins the replayability, the diversity of the racing in the game, which makes it hard to judge. Because if we look at Horizon 2 now, if we look at the game now, I think it's my least favorite in the entire Horizon series. I'm not counting the 360 version.
Same.
But the one version is my least favorite game in the series. But if you were to take the game when it was new and it had that booming online system, oh good God, then I think it would be the next best. It would be third favorite to Horizon 3 for sure. There would be no question. But just because of that lack of replay value, it makes it so hard to play, and it's just hard to rate a racing game now so highly that they make it so difficult to actually race in. And it's hard for me to rate a game just based on what is now just the atmosphere with the entire online system taken out. So Horizon 2 is a weird one, but when it was new, I loved that game. Now I'm a little mixed on it. So yeah, Horizon 2 is definitely an interesting one.
1 out of 10? What do you say?
So Horizon 1, I would give a 10 out of 10. Horizon 2, when it was new, I would give an 8.5.
Yeah, same.
When it was new with the online system, now Horizon 2, I would give a solid 7. And I'm rating this based on like what people think is going to be a 7. I really like to give 5 to be the average, but you know what? Honestly, I'd give Horizon 2 a 7 in general, because even Horizon 2 now has a lot of positives, because I think Horizon 2, in terms of the elevation of the map, I think Horizon 2 has an incredible map. It has so many good areas, and a lot of those are just playground game areas, like I talked about, like under the castle, the golf course, the docks, the cities that you talked about, like Nice. I loved Nice. And all the really, really amazing shorelines, the abandoned airport drag strip. Like, yeah, Horizon 2 had such an amazing map, and it felt so huge when it was new. And Horizon 2 still has one of the best maps in the series to date, easily. It also introduced open fields for the first time in the series.
Yes,
so it was very freedom. It was very fun to do cross-country stuff. And it was nice to have more variety in that racing, but that's also where another weird little issue comes up, because in some of the cross-country, you get this really weird bouncy suspension on some cars to where like you land and then it just does like 5 flips and you lose all your positions. That was a really strange issue in Horizon 2. But yeah, campaign, replayability, and the weird bounce physics definitely take Horizon 2 down some points. But the excellent soundtrack, the variety of soundtrack, the excellent map, amazing online mode, and really great upgrade features and atmosphere online system when it was new. All that stuff made for a really, really good sequel, at least when the game was new. So I give Back then, 8.5. Now 7. With Horizon 1 being a 10.
Same, 8.5 for me now. But
now let's move on to Horizon 2 for the Xbox 360, motherfucker. You thought we were talking about Horizon 3? No, no, we can't forget a piece of Forza history. So a lot of people like to take a nice little good shit on Forza Horizon 5 and the newest Forza Motorsport game. And those games have their problems. Every game has their problems. But people don't take anything for granted these days. When they say stuff like Forza Horizon 5 is a bad game. I don't think you've played a bad game before, because Forza Horizon 2 for the Xbox 360 exists.
Yeah,
and
I played that for more than 90 hours.
I can't believe you put yourself under that, but I guess you're younger, you didn't really have much other games to play. If that's what you had, if I was your age and I was in the same position, I might have very well done the same thing, to be honest. I understand where that came from, but
yeah,
when you think about it now, and when you think about what we've played now and all the options we have now, all the other Forza Horizon games, oh my god, Horizon 2 on the Xbox 360 is actually such a piece of shit. Like,
it's actually doo-doo. Come on.
And we don't mean in comparison. We don't mean being a shit port, because it's not just a shit port. We mean like it's a genuinely bad game, because there are, we've uncovered bugs. Like, there's parts of the map that you can literally just like look through and see like the skybox through.
Through the floor.
The graphics look worse than Forza Horizon 1, which was on the same system. It's actually funny. If you look at the Forza Horizon XE mod now, you can drive like the Forza Horizon 2 Xbox 360 cars in Forza Horizon 1, and those cars that were made for Forza Horizon 2 actually end up looking better in the first game, just because the lighting and the environment stuff looks so much better, and were actually made for the system.
There's a lack of vegetation in the 360 version.
Oh yeah,
there's no grass.
Yeah, there's no grass. It's just the texture, and it looks like a bad Assetto Corsa mod. That's what I like to call it, a bad Assetto Corsa mod.
Anyways, Forza Horizon 2 for the 360. 0 out of 10. 0. I would give it a 1.
I think here's the thing.
It gave me some consolation, because I couldn't play the real game. It gave me some consolation. I could play something. But yeah, go.
I mean, for you, that makes perfect sense. But for me, I'm thinking more on the objective scale. Like, here's the thing. If we look at every racing game to come out, if I want to give Burnout Paradise and Forza Horizon a 10 out of 10, then what is a 1? A 1 or a 0? Is a 0 a valid rating? I don't know. But if I had to give a game a 1, it might be something like Davilex made or whatever, or like Phoenix Games, like Drag Racer or White Van Racer, or some shit like that. Like the lowest of the fucking low. Those games, Muscle Car 3. Like, we have you might have not heard of any of those games before, because they're the biggest piece of shits. But when I'm thinking of a 1, I'm thinking of the lowest of the low. So technically, you would think Forza Horizon 2 for the 360 would be incredible compared to those games. But honestly, yeah, it's a lot better, but it's not amazing compared to them. It gets horribly boring. The handling is nowhere near as good. The environments, they just turn you off so quickly. Most of the music is missing. I would definitely rate Horizon 2 on 360 as a below average game. I think probably a 4, to be honest.
Jake, there are buildings with windows facing through the floor.
Yeah, Horizon 360 is a massive piece of shit. It's the worst game in the Forza franchise by far. And if you think Horizon 5 or Motorsport are bad games, you've never played Horizon 2 for 360 and you don't know what a bad game is. That's it. That's the end of it, and that's a piece of history that we cannot ignore. So I'm glad we covered it.
Sadly. But yeah, it's a 1 out of 10 for me. 1. Just 1.
Yeah, for me, it's a good old 4.
Because in my eyes, there's something worse than a bad racing game. It's a boring racing game. You can have fun with a bad racing game, but you can't have fun with a boring one. So
yeah, Horizon 2 for 360 is one of the most boring racing games I've ever played. So completely understandable case.
But let's move to the absolute peak of the franchise, in my opinion. Forza Horizon 3.
I couldn't believe it.
Forza Horizon 3 is a game I fantasized playing for years. Since 2016. So, when I finally got to play it for the first time, I felt some sort of bliss I haven't felt ever since I played Forza Horizon 1 for the first time. Just playing the intro from Forza Horizon 3, exploring the different biomes that Australia had to offer, like to you, and listening to stuff like Churches, Clear as Blue, like The Wildlife by Out of Sight. It's just that intro was something I never experienced in a racing game before. And you know the first showcase event you do against the Jeep hanging from the helicopter. You know that one?
Mm-hmm.
With Tied to You by the Knox playing in the background while you race with the the Penhal Chola. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, it's correct.
Dude, that showcase is the best one in Forza Horizon's history, in my opinion. And you know, this is where they jumped the shark with the showcase events, because in 2 they were still grounded with a train in vain or racing against a float of jets. No, yeah, that's kind of unrealistic, but it's still cool as shit. Who gives a fuck? It's still great. Racing against a train in Forza Horizon 3 is the most fun I had racing a train in the whole Horizon franchise.
Yeah, I might actually agree with you on that one. Definitely.
And yeah, where you use the Camaro, and dude, the Outback, Surfer's Paradise, the forests, Yarra Valley. It's like it's all like well conjoined. It's a well made map. Like the 12 apostles, the inclusion of the beautyscapes, the beauty spots. I don't know how it's called over there, but like
Beauty spot is the correct term.
yeah, like the beauty spots. That's the best thing I could have done. Like just you parked and them showing you the places. You know, the pink lake. I don't know what it's called, but I remember there was a pink lake in there, and you know, like the night skies in Australia were something different. Like, I wouldn't set a foot in Australia because of the spiders, but holy shit, I would love to just stand in the desert and look at the sky at night. It's... The soundtrack in that game is magical. I can't find another way to put it. It's magical. It's outerworldly. It was so perfectly curated. Like, it feels like Forza Horizon 1's soundtrack, but a bit more modernized. I don't know if you understand what I mean, but I love the inclusion of Australian radio stations, like with the record labels, like Future Classic. There's some really good shit out there that I would have never discovered otherwise, you know? And like Obi-Wan by Jaguar Moi, no, Jaguar Ma or something like that. It's so good. There's some really good songs in there, like stuff like Justice, Safe and Sound. That song is orgasmic. Same with Clearest Blue, The Heart of Me, and Pulse, and Vagrant Radio as to replace Access. They did a good job. You know, they did a good job. They did a good job replacing the Rock Station with that. We also had Epitaph, so that's a great addition. Hospital Records came back.
Really, it was replaced by those two stations. They just split it.
Yeah. Vagrant and Epitaph. Then Hospital Records came back. Really good radio station. I loved it. And then Timeless, which, I kid you not, I like the selection of tracks in Timeless. I listened to a bit of Timeless when I played FH3, so... I would have loved to see Ninja Tune come back for this one. because I'm sure they would have added some sick-ass songs, but Bass Arena was also so good. The only song I don't really fuck with is the Marshmallow one.
Marshmallow is not in Horizon 3. That was Horizon 4.
Oh yeah, I got them mixed. Yeah, Fly. Was it Fly?
Fly was in Horizon 4's Bass Arena.
Well, Fly sucks dick. But, yeah. I remember the soundtrack in FH3 was on par with 1. It's on par. If not a bit lower, better, I don't know. It's hard. It's really hard.
It's one of those that's just so close it's hard to comment on.
Yeah, you have some absolute gems in there, and it's just hard to decide. But the ambientation, the game progression is leagues above FH2.
Leagues, absolutely.
Like, lots of leagues. Like, the festival upgrading, I like that. Getting the fans and all that, that was perfect. I think it was the perfect way to put to move with the game progression in the game. And it's really a beautiful game. And with a great car selection, some fantastic DLCs. The Hot Wheels DLC is one of the best DLCs I've ever played. No joke. And Blizzard Mountain was really good. I know what they were doing. They were testing the waters for snow. You know, they were cheeky like that. But it's funny when you think about it. Like, the DLCs for a Forza Horizon game are the testing ground for what they're gonna do in the next one.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what they're gonna do next, but Forza Horizon 3. Amazing soundtrack, fantastic location. Australia, I remember seeing people saying like, Australia? I wanted Japan, or I wanted somewhere else. Australia sounds like a nothing place, like a nothing country. No, sir. Australia has a lot of biomes. It has beautiful scapes, beautiful spots, beautiful culture, and a Prime Minister shot in a McDonald's, which is the only place in planet Earth where that happened. So yeah, Australia is special. Australia is really special. But I remember telling Josh about it and he laughed his ass off. He's like, yeah, that's true. That happened to a Prime Minister. But that game was fantastic. And I think that is a 9.5 out of 10.
And I would agree with you. 9.5 out of 10.
No, I didn't mention the best song in the game. Go.
Go is
by MA3.
Go is top 5 or top 10 for me. Definitely one of the best songs in the game.
Like, when I say, oh, this is the best song, I remember another song. You know, Clear as Blue is another fantastic song that is fighting for the top 1 spot. But yeah, it's hard to decide. But my verdict for this game is a 9.5 out of 10. I wanted to play it for so long, and stuff from the biggest cities, like Surfer's Paradise, to the smallest neighborhoods in the middle of the desert, they nailed it perfectly. Even the stranded ship, the giant ship that's stranded in the sand, that thing is amazing. And wasn't this the first game to introduce danger signs?
Yes, it was, and danger signs were a great a great addition to the PR stunts for sure.
Same with drift spots.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they were really fun.
It was also the first game with skill songs.
Yeah, I like that. And even the perk system, I found it really interesting, and I liked filling the skill tree up. It was really gratifying. And wait, no. Yeah, no, the auction houses were in 2, right? Or were in 3?
They returned in Forza Horizon 3. They actually were in Forza Horizon 1. I'm pretty sure.
Were?
I'm pretty sure they were, and then they stopped, and then they didn't have it in 2, and then they had it in 3.
I'm low-key glad they stopped doing like the unicorn cars giveaways, because shit, like, it was cool.
The unicorn cars were bullshit in the old Forzas.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I really wanted to get the Celine S15 or the Lamborghini Sesto Elemento. Like, But, anyways. Forza Horizon 3, 9.5 out of 10. Tell me your take on the game.
I mean, to agree with your rating, I'd give it like a 9 or a 9.5 out of 10 for sure. Probably closer to a 9 for me, but Forza Horizon 3 is still in my top 10 racing games of all time, and is, I think, on the 8th generation of game consoles, I think it is the best racing game that came out the entire generation. So, yeah, I have some very high remarks for this game, and I think I also have the strongest amount of personal emotion towards this game, like my relationship with it, and what was like leading up to it and everything. So, 2016, it's June 2016, we're watching the Xbox E3, and we're waiting for that Forza Horizon 3 trailer that was just, so nicely teased by the Forza socials the previous month, because they had been talking about they had this little like Lamborghini Centenario teaser trailer.
Yes,
I
remember that.
Where they showed like just a bunch of Lambos and like Forza 6, and then it like has like the Centenario like in the shadows, like watch the Xbox E3 briefing in June, whatever, so obviously that was giving some way towards Forza Horizon 3, and my friends and I had already discussed Horizon 3 quite a bit and what it could have, what it could entail, for quite a while beforehand back in 2015, and I kind of forgot what we wanted out of the game, of what we were saying back then. Obviously, we were all like, "Oh, Japan should be the location," because that's what everyone was saying. Obviously, to this very day, but but I wasn't the type to get disappointed if it wasn't there, But obviously, that's what we were all theorizing. Oh, they're gonna do that because it just makes sense, and it's like, no, they never did that. But yeah. So June 2016 comes by, and that trailer starts, and we start to see kangaroos, and that's when I think me and the whole group that were watching it were starting to flip the fuck out, because the same exact day, the same morning, the game had leaked, and we hadn't seen this happen previously. For Forza Horizon 2, we actually saw some concept art, or what was supposed concept art, of the game taking place in the Deep South, like Louisiana, and stuff like places like that. I think it's a terrible place for a Horizon game. I don't even think that was real concept art, but that was apparently a thing that was going around. And then Horizon 2 was announced before the briefing, but with a short teaser trailer. Didn't really say much of anything. We just saw the Huracan drive off in like a field. But then we saw the E3 trailer. But Horizon 3, we didn't see the game announced, but it was teased through that Lamborghini trailer that was done in Forza 6. So we were all expecting Horizon 3, and we got what we wanted and more, to be honest. So that trailer starts, we start freaking out, and then a Liberty Walk Nissan GTR drives by, and the whole crowd screams the fuck out, because Forza, something that had been doing, the community had been doing. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but you would see it a lot in Forza Horizon 2, especially in Forza Motorsport 4 and 5 even, where people would make painted on body kits, and online you would see these fake Rocket Bunny GTA like BRZs and all these other cars with fake bolted on fenders, because they wanted the wide body kits in Forza, but they just painted it themselves since the developers weren't actually adding it. So the moment that we saw that Liberty Walk GTR, we're like, oh my gosh, they're actually listening to us. And that immediately, when we saw that car, is when the hype train truly began. And then we saw like the cities and all this variety of the land, and we're like, oh my god, I can't believe it. My goodness, this is the Horizon game that we've been wanting. And the hype cycle just went up and up and up. And as that hype cycle was going, I was 15 years old, turning on 16. And at that time, I was looking forward to a lot of new stuff in my life. So many things were on the up. I was making a lot of videos with friends back on the old channel. I was getting to meet a lot of people who were also excited for Horizon 3. And it was my second favorite hype cycle of any game ever, just behind Year 3 2015. And after Forza Horizon 3, I have never been as excited for a game since Forza Horizon 3. I mean, Year 3 2015 was my number one. But Forza Horizon 3, since then, I've not been, that's the last time I've gotten that level of excitement for a game coming out. And
yes, drive a limited solar ground. Let's go. That
No,
was the opposite that happened.
no,
No.
no.
That was a shit show.
That was a big shit show. But
Mm-hmm.
from the reveal to the release to the game. Oh, I hate that I said that.
Nice, KSI.
Josh
KSI got on the call. Holy
Josh
shit.
has been poisoning me with the thick of it references recently.
From the screen to the ring to the band to the game.
Anyway, back from that garbage song. Then the demo came out. We played the living shit out of it. The demo had it online. We even made a video for it, and yeah, we just played the demo over and over and over again. I had a trip. I had a vacation actually. We went to Florida, and I was still there on like the day the game came out. So when we were at like the airport coming back home, I was like watching everyone's like videos that they started doing for the first like day or two of the game and everything. For the first time I had pre-ordered the Ultimate Edition, which was a scam because it didn't come with the expansions. But yeah, it was my first time I pre-ordered an Ultimate Edition. I spent $100 on that game, and I was not disappointed. The game came out. I remember playing for the very first time. Like I was on a call and everything, and made a bunch of videos. We made a bunch of the user-made bucket lists. Listened to the crap out of the soundtrack, which I was excited for. Like I was listening to the songs and stuff beforehand. But Horizon 3 was, I think, one of the most influential games in my entire life. And because to me, that game signifies my like the best of like my teen years and stuff like that. Is that year like 2016 and getting that hype cycle.
Yeah.
But Horizon 3 also resonates deeply with me personally because it was the last game that had came out before a lot of stuff for me actually started going wrong. And like a month or two after Horizon 3, a couple months after Horizon 3 was released, a lot of stuff in my life actually began to shatter unexpectedly. And Horizon 3 was one of my comfort points. It was just like everything had been just normal and fine before. Everything was on the up. Like my trip was amazing. The hype cycle for Horizon 3 was amazing. The YouTube videos we were doing on it was amazing. Like all that stuff was awesome. And everything just kind of broke apart all of a sudden. And but I could still play Horizon 3 to remember how things just were just a little bit beforehand. And I tried to play Blizzard Mountain for comfort. Then Hot Wheels came out, and I'm like, you know what? Things are kind of bad, but I can still enjoy this freaking awesome expansion. Just looks so good. I didn't expect this. And Horizon 3 turned into from like a huge hype cycle thing to being my comfort zone for a while. And for like the next year, I think Overwatch and Forza Horizon 3 were my big comfort zone games, and I played so much of both of them. And that's my story with Horizon 3. My relationship with the game hasn't really changed all since then. The only time I've replayed it was when I was given a spare copy of it to a little cousin of mine last year when I gave my Xbox One away to him after I got an Xbox Series X for myself. I gave him Horizon 3, and before that, I was just testing the disc I got to make sure it worked. I put it in, I installed it, and I ended up actually playing through all of the Byron Bay location. And it really just cemented for me that that Horizon 3 is the perfect balance between new and old Horizon, because it had characters I feel like I could actually believe to be real. They felt
Warren.
They felt good to interact with, like Warren, but they didn't get all super horny, and they didn't make all these like all these
superstar. That kind of shit.
Wrong reference. They didn't get all horny and say a bunch of like whack shit like in Horizon 1, but they also didn't baby you like they do in Forza Horizon 5. So it really, in my opinion, was the perfect middle ground for the Horizon character like dialogue when it comes to how they treat the player, when it comes to just that kind of stuff. And it was also really good progression wise with the building up the festivals. So I felt like there was a lot more interaction with the festivals than there was in any previous game. The atmosphere wasn't as strong as Horizon 1, but you had that regained somewhat in terms of like the building that you did of them and like building them up. And they felt like it was just cool in that way, and like getting to decide the race disciplines, and it also introduced Horizon Blueprint, which fixed the progression issue of Horizon 2. Thank goodness, I can actually do some normal races for once. Let's go. But yeah, and then kind of just inherited the online system from Horizon 2. So the online was still a lot of fun. So Horizon 3 is an absolutely excellent game. Best racing game on 8th gen consoles, in my opinion. 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 easy. One of my all-time favorites, and one of the most influential games for me, for the base game.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect rating to give it. From a 9 to a 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I get it either way. But yeah, like just everything was so influential. Even the soundtrack, which I agree with you, is like super close to Horizon 1. I still think Horizon 1 probably edges it out, but Horizon 3 is the best in terms of variety. And for a long time, the Pulse Station was my favorite. And just depending on the day, you know, for me, is like whether 1 or 3 is better soundtrack in some ways. Influenced my music taste a lot, because drum and bass even further with the Hospital Records. You had songs like Ultraviolet by Fred V and Graphics, Sierra by Krakota with just amazing atmosphere, Komodo by Whiny, and I've seen people talk some shit, and I've seen people talk shit about Hospital Records, that it's way too atmosphere heavy, and that we need the Pendulum and the Chemists and all the other high energy D&B acts. And I'm like, if you put the D&B from Motorstorm into Forza Horizon, it would not fit at all. I am sorry. But Horizon 3 had the perfect mix of that atmospheric drum and bass, as well as the high intensity tracks. Listen to some of the tracks on that station, and I'm like, the naysayers of Hospital, I just don't understand them. I'm sorry. I think Horizon 3 has the best Hospital record selection in any Forza Horizon game, in my opinion, to date.
You know, like, I love to cruise and listen to some poppy tunes or some rocky tunes, but there are times where I just want to listen to that shit like that, you know? I'm not a big fan of drum and bass, but holy shit, they nail it in Hospital.
So what I also want to talk about with Horizon 3, and I think it's where this influence is really strong, is the expansions. Because the expansions, I think, were much better than 2's, but I also think they're much better than 4's. Bless you?
Sorry. Continue.
I think Horizon 3 does have the best DLC and expansions in the entire franchise. Because you had Blizzard Mountain, which had really cool progression, and it did something completely different from the main environment. It looked different, it handled different, and yeah, I think that alone made it worth the purchase. And then you had Hot Wheels, which was also completely different from the main environment, completely shrouded in fantasy, and you had that Forza handling on Hot Wheels tracks, and it just, then you had like the cool city area, and it just felt like the main map extended with a Hot Wheels track on it, and it's just super, super cool. My favorite Forza expansion of all time. People are like, oh, but Horizon Rally for Horizon 1 is cool. And I'm like, yeah, it's cool, but shut the fuck up. Hot Wheels for Horizon 3.
We didn't even mention them.
Because Horizon Rally...
Like the 1000 Club.
Horizon Rally is cool, but it's nowhere near as cool as Hot Wheels for Horizon 3.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Horizon 3 Hot Wheels, my favorite Forza and probably even just racing game expansion of all time, next to Big Surf Island for Burnout Paradise. Amazing job they did on that. The only thing that they could have added is a true track creator, which they did in Forza Horizon 5 later on, and we'll get to that eventually. I love nearly everything about it.
Yeah, 9.5 out of 10 in my book.
9.
We're moving to Forza Horizon 4. Forza Horizon 4. It's a game I remember waiting for, not to play, just to watch. You know, back then I was like a gaming cuck. I didn't have the console to play, so I'm gonna watch. I'm just gonna watch gameplay.
Honestly, when you said gaming cuck, I just thought like, oh, you didn't have the money for it. But no, that definition makes sense, because you're not part of it. Yes. You're just watching.
Yeah, that's the worst thing I called myself, by the way. But yeah, I usually, like, when I was expecting the trailer for Need for Speed Payback, and when it came out, I could do nothing but just watch it, you know? Just watch people play it. And it's sad, but I used to do that with any game that came out. Racing game or non-racing game. And this was the case with Forza Horizon 4. I remember that the literal icon for the .exe of the game got leaked, like, 2 hours or like an hour before the conference when it got revealed, and you could literally see the McLaren Senna and the Land Rover, and it was such a good reveal. Like at first I thought, oh, this looks just like Forza Horizon 3, but no, it kind of did, but it had some upgrades. The first thing I'm gonna address is the seasons. Those, like, that is the best thing they could have added to a Forza Horizon game. Imagine seasons in Forza Horizon 1.
I thought about that sometimes. Seeing that map in winter, it would be crazy.
Yeah, because Colorado usually has snow in some parts, right?
Well, when I was there in 2012 for winter, yeah, the snow was pretty extreme.
Yeah, and I'm glad you made it out alive from that. You were literally in the Blizzard Mountain expansion. Okay.
It kind of felt like that, almost.
Yeah, but like Forza Horizon 4 was a step forward in my book. It had some really nice vibes, and usually I think that countryside-based maps are kind of boring, but this one wasn't. The map in this game is beautiful. No other way to put it. I love Edinburgh, and yeah, it was such a beautiful map. It's like it's Scotland, right? It's part of Scotland, or is it just Scotland?
It's the UK and Scotland.
The soundtrack is the first time that it's a downgrade, in my opinion. It has some good shit going on. Like they shifted the philosophy of Pulse from an indie station to an eclectic station to a poppy station to a synth pop station. It was a good radio station. It has some good shit like Poolside. I love that artist.
That song Feel Alright, that's one of the best songs on there for sure.
Yeah, and Kim and Jesse.
Great, best song in the game.
It's amazing, but it's not the best, in my opinion. Base Arena has some good shit in it. Except Fly. Like, there is some good shit in it. And Access, I think it's the best one in Forza Horizon.
I would actually agree with you.
Like, you got Over and Over and Over by Jack White. You have La Di Da by Foo Fighters, which is not the song I would have picked for that radio station, but it's still good. Yeah, there's some good stuff in it. And we passed Forza Horizon 3 without mentioning the best radio station added in the game, Block Party.
I don't know how we passed it up, especially considering before I was going to talk about the musical influences, and Block Party I think really helped me get back into 90s hip-hop. Not that it had a ton of 90s hip-hop, because it didn't, but it had modern music that was very influenced by 90s hip-hop, and that's what made Block Party on 3 feel like just perfect.
It was an amazing radio station because it didn't have Big Freedia.
I agree with
swear
that.
To God. Like, her songs are not good. Like,
they're really
karaoke
they're
and
very,
Platinum,
very bad.
They're like Money-cutted. Like, somebody say, hey, we want some. It sounds like that,
Yeah, money coded. What a term. What a term. Honestly, Money's better than any of those big Freedia Forza songs, though.
I agree. And, Block Party in FH3 was flawless. Flawless. And in 4, it was okay. It was good,
I think Block Party in 3 was amazing, and Block Party in 4 was still pretty dang great. But they are very different stations.
All the stars. That song, you predicted that song was going to be in the game.
I predicted it was going to be in the game, and I was correct, which shocked me so much.
And guess what? Now Jake works at Playground Games. Congratulations, man.
I wish.
I was going to mention that Block Party in 4 had some great selection of tracks. There was some reggae song in there by Protege?
Yeah,
or something like that.
It was Protege.
And, I by Kendrick Lamar.
Who knows? Who knows by a Protege? Great track, and an I is also a classic.
Who knows? And then Michael by Duckworth.
Yes.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Michael Jackson! Why did I actually nail it screwing up with my own voice?
Oh, but that's a great song to cruise and race
Mm-hmm.
with. It's a fantastic song, and it's in Payback too.
Yeah,
And
they grabbed a couple songs from Need for Speed Payback. Not so
wasn't Flipping
shady.
Cars?
Flipping Cars by Shredders was also in Block Party, which is honestly a really good pick. I like that song a lot, but I don't know about Forza, but like, okay, you grabbed it.
Yeah, it fits better in Payback. I don't know. Well, I don't know why, but it fits better in Payback.
It does.
But Hospital Records in 4 had some good songs. Not gonna lie.
Hospital
It's
Records,
not better than 3.
it's not better than 3, but it's still very good.
Hmm. Who can forget about Groove Music? It's not
That
even
was
in the game, is it?
that was in Horizon 3.
Yeah, that was in the
Which is
like.
funnily enough, part of my memory with the game was like getting it with Horizon 3 was like getting it like on release day and playing like some like Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2 songs and like other songs on YouTube. I actually have some clips of me playing those in the game, and yeah, that station's long gone.
Oh, you gotta send it. But
Yeah.
it's hard to say now because I said the best showcase was the one from Forza Horizon 3 with a jeep attached to the helicopter. But now remember the hovercraft.
Oh, the
The
hovercraft. The
hovercraft.
hovercraft is good. That's probably the best showcase in Horizon 4.
Yeah, it has the best intro in the whole franchise, in my opinion.
That is something I will not argue with.
It's beautiful. Like, they did like the 4 stations from the old classical music from, I don't know if it was Bach, I don't remember who, but they made it modernized. They made like a song for autumn, summer, spring, and winter.
Yeah, by
And
Fred V and graphics, and yeah, that arrangement I think is already iconic. People were wanting it so bad in the game's like radio station when it was first released, and it wasn't initially in there on launch.
I mean, Sunrise is the best next thing. Like Auckland Sunrise.
It is the next best thing, but then we actually got the full song from the intro in the radio station later on.
For me, it was like as a way their swan song in a Forza Horizon game. It was their swan song.
It
in my
was
opinion.
because the group broke up afterward.
Yeah, like now this game's fucking shit. I want to break up. That's what happened. They told me over the phone.
Okay, yeah,
As it was happening.
With all the government contact that you have includes Fred V and graphics specifically, and Daft Punk.
Yeah, and Daft Punk. You remember that joke from fucking 2020? That's fucking insane.
Yeah, well, that joke wasn't from 2020. 2020 is before Daft Punk broke up.
No, 2021.
Yeah,
That's where they
2021.
broke up.
There you go.
2021. But yeah, the visual identity, I thought it was really good. It was an upgrade from 3, in my opinion. The pause menu is so good. Like
Yeah,
when you
well,
pause
I
and the
remember-
background goes to white.
I remember
I love that
seeing
shit.
that pause menu for the very first time shortly after the game was revealed. Like there was like some like demo footage from people playing it, and they just paused the game, and I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, they gotta bring that back. Like it had so much sauce in it, and one of my favorite things, like even though it's kind of useless, it's the weather. You know, like the weather on the side, and then a cool feature is the cover art for the song that's playing. It appears there. I love that. And navigation wise, it's not good. You know, I spent how many minutes looking for the season playlist, and it was right there.
It was
looking
right
through
there at the
every
very
tab.
front.
Yeah, and I was looking for it, and I'm like, what the fuck? Where is it? Where is it? And it was right there. And it was in the Forzathon tab. And that's something that they made better with 5. But we will go on that later. I think the map is beautiful. Like, it had, like, the highway system is really good, in my opinion. The skies are beautiful. Like, when they're sunny, when they're cloudy, and the forests are so good looking. And I love the fields with the flowers, the yellow ones, the pink ones. I love how colorful the map is, you know? It doesn't look sterile. It looks full of color, full of things that occupy your peripheral vision. Even the most countryside places have a couple houses, some fences, some trees. It's a good map, and honestly, it has some good ass showcases. The only one I don't really like is the Halo one. It breaks the immersion for me, but hey, it's a Halo showcase. I don't know, it felt shoehorned in my opinion.
I get it. So
But yeah,
So Horizon 4 is an interesting one. So obviously I liked Horizon 3 a lot. Like that was like my actual opinion. The only thing that jaded me on Horizon 3, I remember like a bit after release, Craptastic Jack made a video talking about how like not different it was from Horizon 2. And like me and Josh back then were like really into like believing people, and even though it wasn't my actual opinion, and he was like, yeah, Forza it up, like Craig it up. That was his thing. He wanted to do a hashtag Forza it up because he felt like Horizon 3 was a ripoff. It was barely different from 2. And a lot of him and his friends felt the same way. So we were like, wow, we gotta join. I gotta make a Forza it up video now. And there's one of my old channel that's like privated and everything. But I didn't actually feel that way. My opinion on that didn't actually last very long. Obviously, I was a huge Horizon 3 fan, mostly from beginning to end. And Horizon 4 comes around. And I think kind of the idea is that like they have to do Japan now. That was the idea within a lot of people. And when the UK was leaked a bit initially, like from some like Forza Motorsport 7 like car list previews, like there was like the icons leaked for cars, like the London cab, and it's like, okay, why would they put a London cab in any other game than the Forza Horizon set in the UK? So we pretty much realized it was the UK, and there started to be this like collective disappointment in the game already, even though we hadn't seen anything from it. Eventually, the game was revealed, and we were a little underwhelmed, but I was still excited for something seen in the game, like the scenery, for example. Like I think, like I was like, wow, this map looks beautiful. This looks really good. Like I'm still gonna enjoy this. And we saw the gameplay, and we're like, whoa, it's literally just the same like gameplay demo style they did for Horizon 3. So we were all getting the impression that this was gonna be the same thing over again. I had saved up my Microsoft points mostly, so I got a big discount on the game when it came out. Like I was still like, I wasn't hyped for it, but I was definitely looking forward to it. I played the game, and I played it a lot with friends. We were excited to play it. And initially, for the first few months of the game, I played it a good amount, but I was disappointed by it. And I was like sad that I waited this long for a new one, and that it turned out like this. And the reason why I was disappointed, number one, in the soundtrack, and two, specifically how they do some of the progression. So I was disappointed in Horizon 4's progression. I'm gonna start with that one, because you know how like the game starts you off on that like really long prologue section after the main intro, like where they want to walk you through each 4 seasons before you can get to the online functionality, and where like you're actually like with the seasons in real time. I understand why they do that, because they don't want to jump a player into that immediately and not know what's going on. But I think it goes on for way too long. And the reason why it was such a big point for me is because they pretty much gave you nearly every showcase in the game in that prologue section. And it really, really screwed up the pacing of the game, in my opinion. And they did some other weird choices. I remember people were complaining about the time, which I agree with. Like, if you lost an event, you got barely any less money for winning the event. And just other stuff like that really aggravated people when it came to the game economy and progression. It was definitely, they added all the extra rolls and stuff like that, which made you get wheel spins near constantly, which means the garage was just full of stuff you didn't want for the most part. And it was stuff like that with its like progression that I was really disappointed in. But the biggest thing I was disappointed by was the soundtrack, because as a huge Horizon 3 fan, coming into Horizon 4 soundtrack, my initial impression was that Block Party's still good, XS is really good, Hospital isn't as good, but it's still good. But I felt like Base Arena and Pulse got massacred. That's how that was my initial opinion of Horizon 4's soundtrack. And because I loved Pulse in the last game, and specifically I really got into Churches, that band. I got into their music, and I remember their latest album, it was Love Is Dead, that came out earlier that year. I'd followed their music, and I thought the album was like pretty decent, but they picked one of the songs that I didn't like off the album for the game, Never Say Die. And I don't mind the track as much nowadays, but it's just a little too repetitive for my taste, the chorus specifically. But I was really disappointed in that, and just other things where I just didn't like the sound of that Pulse station. And Base Arena is a fucking shit show, in my opinion. I think Base Arena on Horizon 4, for the most part, is extremely forgettable. There's a couple good tracks, and then there's Blackwater. And
Ah,
Blackwater is one of the best songs in the game. That song is amazing. I absolutely love it. But I think most of Bass Arena is extremely mid or just like really bad. I just find it to be very, very forgettable, very like background sounding kind of music. Nothing really gets me excited to hear it other than Blackwater, which again is it's one of those tracks that's like, yeah, you made most of the station bad, but then you have this one track that almost nearly makes up for it, and it's just so unbalanced in my opinion. I still really enjoyed Block Party, and they introduced me to Anderson .Paak, which is one of my favorite artists. Through what's that song on there? It was a single.
right. Till it's over. Wasn't
Yeah,
it till it's over?
it was Till It's Over, which actually wasn't on his album that came out shortly after the game came out. It was just an odd single
Bruh.
for an Apple commercial. But that song was awesome, and it got me into his music, which was really good. Hospital was a lot more atmospheric than the previous two. It was mainly made for free roaming. Not nearly as much vocals as the previous songs, and the format was different too because it was all songs that were previously unreleased. But it wasn't all music that was made for the game, but rather music that was just from the vaults of each of these artists that they just didn't want to release. And it's like, okay, you have some unreleased music? Yeah, we'll just get some out of your computer's drum drawer, basically.
That I didn't know. So it was basically leftovers.
It was just leftovers of each of these artists. And there's a lot of songs on here that are really great. But some of them you can kind of get the leftover vibe from, but I still really enjoy most of the station. Auckland Sunrise by Fred V in graphics. Dawnbreaker by Metric. Lessons Learned and Empire by Polaris are some of the best atmospheric tracks. Empire, yeah, one of the best atmospheric free roam tracks in any Horizon game. And obviously you had Sunrise, which was amazing. So you still, like, Hospital still definitely had some good stuff, and so did XS and Block Party. It was just Pulse and Bass Arena I was initially really disappointed by, and loving the soundtrack for Forza Horizon 3 so much, I was really disappointed in Horizon 4 at first because of the progression and because of the soundtrack. However, I had still continued to play the game. I think I kind of took a break from it for a few months, but back in like early mid 2019, I had really returned to it, and I had really just started to use the route creator a lot more, make my own events, and the route creator I think is what kept me playing Horizon 4. I kept making all these stupid, crazy events, even though it didn't really have a lot of flexibility. It just kept me going, and I felt like the improvements to the physics, like the off-road physics, and the really cool snow that you can put your tires through in the mud that you can change, stuff like that, made the off-road experience a lot better. What?
The addition of trucks.
Yeah, the addition of like a lot more like trucks and like the racing trucks, like the off-road experience
Unimog.
It is Unimog. So many unique, cool off-road vehicles that were not in Forza Horizon 3, and the physics made the off-road experience so much better. And I started making all these really cool off-road events, and I really loved the off-roading experience in 4, and it just kept me playing it over and over again, even if I was disgruntled with some other aspects of the game. And what I realized was through in early 2020, I was going through a really rough spot, and I had really gotten back into the game at that point with Toyota coming back, and I was like driving like the Lex LFA, getting a lot of other cars, making a lot of events, just cruising around stuff. And the online functionality really wasn't as good as in Horizon 2 or 3, so there wasn't that really to play either. I think that was also another thing that was a bit disappointing for me, was the whole really stupid like free roam rush or whatever. And initially you couldn't even play solo races at first. It was only team races at launch, and then you had to add solo racing in January, and we were appalled by it. But while disappointing at first, I kept playing Horizon 4, and it got me through some tough times. And what I realized about Horizon 4 is that it's the most home-feeling Horizon game. Even though I've never been in the UK, for some reason, when I hop on Horizon 4, something's oddly comforting about it. And I think it's probably just the fact that the map doesn't feel as fantastical as the other ones. It feels a bit more grounded, and it makes sense because that's Playground's literally their backyard. They're able to do it as authentically as they want it to. In a lot of ways, I think they did it pretty well in terms of the authenticity, to where it just feels more real and comforting than fantastical and awesome like the previous maps do. And that might not sound as cool on paper, but I think, it works for something different, especially for the different angle that I took with this game, which was the sort of like a year-round Horizon Festival, and that's how they justified the season system of the game, which, before I had some criticism for, of that, it wasn't as good because it's not as exciting, it's not as festival-y, but now I can accept the different direction of the game and be like, in some ways it might be worse, but in other ways, it's pretty dang cool. And I really came around to appreciate Horizon 4 in a lot of other ways, and I still played the crap out of it. I played a lot for the live service updates, even if I got annoyed with how the cars were put out at first, and the system was so much worse at launch because you had to get a certain amount of points. It wasn't like percentage, it was like points, and then you could do enough events to not have enough points, and you could like miss out on like a daily speed trap from before and not get the weekly car. It was so annoying when I tried to get the M3 GTR when they released that originally. But I had my grievances with Horizon 4 when it came to live service, soundtrack, and progression. But the route creator, the overall fun map, off-road improvements, and some about the feeling of the game kind of just kept me going with it. And they also had a lot of nice graphical improvements and stuff to the photo mode that they added later on. And I really, really got more into taking really good photos in Horizon 4 versus Horizon 3. You could really make the game look a lot better with all the cool like God Ray effects they added. And then photo mode, you had the higher sample count, higher quality, bokeh effects, all this other cool stuff. And I really got into that specifically. And I think it definitely deepened like how I played the game and how, like different ways I play it. In Horizon 4, despite me not sounding nearly as positive, I still really enjoyed the game, and I would give Horizon 4 a solid 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, like in my case, I think the map was amazing, the soundtrack was really good, even if it was a step back, it was good, still good for me. The map had amazing sites like Ashbrook, Broadway, Edinburgh, what was the name? The Mud Kickers Park, and the Quarry, like, I love those places made for amazing experiences for single player and multiplayer. And, stuff like designs, menus, I loved.
Yeah, the UI I think is a big upgrade in terms of how it looks from Horizon 3. I think it was a lot nicer for sure.
Yeah, and the DLCs, I thought they were good.
I honestly think the DLCs though in Horizon 4, I think were a big downgrade from Forza Horizon 3. And I found myself to be disappointed in both of them. Despite me being a fan of LEGO, I was disappointed in the Speed Champions expansion as well.
In my case, I liked it. I thought the LEGO cars were super cute. Like, the Chiron, the F40, and the Senna. It's like, oh, it has a movable spoiler, just like the real counterpart. It's so cute. I thought the cars looked amazing. And the little details like the stickers on the headlights, it's so cool. I found it to be really cool.
Speed Champions, the LEGO expansion, I loved the idea of. I was a big supporter from day one. So many people in the Forza community really, really hated the idea of it, but I loved that they were doing a LEGO expansion. I thought it was so cool. It would have, fit every dream of mine when I was younger. I would have lost my shit, but my problem wasn't with the idea, it was with the execution. Specifically in that I felt like the map wasn't LEGO enough, and there weren't enough LEGO cars to justify it. Like, you could drive a regular car on the LEGO map and a LEGO car on the regular map. And I just find that to be a little odd, but more so the fact that at the end of the game, you only had 5 LEGO cars, being Senna, F40, the Mini Cooper, the Bugatti Chiron, and the Porsche 911. And for an expansion, that's a very, very small amount of cars. Now, granted, I think that game did the look of LEGO cars better than LEGO 2K Drive did. And 2K Drive is a really fun game, but Forza Horizon 4 nailed the look of a real LEGO car with the way the material of the sticker and like the translucency of the pieces is just perfection. They did an amazing job. But just, it's the amount of content that I think was the problem with it. But I still enjoyed playing the expansion. It was just the amount of content for me from what I was expecting for it, because I was really hyped for that expansion personally. And then there was Fortune Island, which had an Aurora Borealis, and other than that, it was just really boring.
Yeah, I thought it had the coolest intro. I
actually agree
intro.
with that. Never mind, I actually agree with that. Fortune Island had a sick ass intro.
Yeah, I played it live on stream and I was shitting my pants. I remember that.
I was. Maybe I wasn't shitting my pants, but Fortune Island I think probably has one of the best, if not the best, Forza Horizon expansion intro. It's just after that is where I got really disappointed, because I remember the Horizon 4 map. I initially felt like it looked really dreary, and during summer it definitely doesn't. But half the time in winter, the overcastness just looked too dreary. The autumn sometimes did, and the spring sometimes did. And for a Horizon game, I didn't expect that, and I felt very off-put by the dreary look that Horizon 4 sometimes had, which kind of fell in line with its more realistic look to it. Like Horizon 1 had the shading and color filters, Horizon 2 had color filters, Horizon 3 had oversaturated environments, but Horizon 4 didn't really have any of that. It went for the more realistic look, and I think that definitely offset me at the first time. I was like, what's up with this? And Fortune Island kind of drove that in more. It looked even drearier.
When I did the trailer for the Season 3 of my channel, I put like a little... I don't know if you saw the clip of the Supra getting out of the garage, but I applied a blue filter on it, and I think it looks better than no filter. Like, if you want to check it out, go do it, but it looks way better with the blue filter than with no filter. And I think filters emphasize the vibes of a place. Like, say what you will about Mexico and yellow lenses, but they kind of drive the point across that it's a hot place. So
yeah, as much of a meme as it is, it works and it exists for a reason. So Fortune Island, I think here's the thing, I wasn't super hyped for Fortune Island, but I did grab the expansions. And Fortune Island, there are definitely some roads I enjoy driving on. I enjoy making some like rally and off-road events. But here's the thing, other than the Aurora Borealis, I felt like there wasn't too much great about it. And the big disappointment for me came in when I always looked at the marketing. I thought that you would be able to drive to the very top of the mountain. That's what I thought. And I thought and I thought that I could make an event that started from the very top and you descended down to the very bottom. And I was extremely disappointed that you couldn't even get nowhere near to the top of the mountain. And I'm just like, it really drove the point home that Forza, I felt like at the time, never went above your expectations. You always want a certain thing to exist in Forza, but it felt like they never beat the expectation. Like, yep, they're gonna do it this way, and they never surprised me. And Forza Horizon 4, I felt like a lot of things about the game and its expansions drove that point home, unfortunately. And I think that negative community sentiment around it definitely soured my opinion of the general game too. And when I played Fortune Island and I saw that, the disappointment truly drove home for the game and the expansion for me at that time. I still think it's the worst Forza expansion, but there are enjoyable elements of it. I think Lego Speed Champions is better, but I'm disappointed by the content. Overall, I think the expansions are a lot weaker than Forza Horizon 3, and I also think they're weaker than Horizon 5 as well. So thankfully, it didn't get worse from there, in my opinion. But the expansions, I was disappointed, but the game itself, I was disappointed at first, but I would end it off on a 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna rescore Forza Horizon 2 and move it from a 8.5 to a 7. Like, so the ranking would be Forza Horizon 1, 10, Forza Horizon 2, a 7, Forza Horizon 3, 9.5 out of 10, Forza Horizon 4, 8.5 out of 10, in my opinion.
Understandable.
And yeah, it's a really good one. But
Horizon
we're gonna finish off.
Yeah, Horizon 4 is it's still Horizon 4. Like I said, is still a great game in my opinion, even if I was disappointed by it at first.
Yeah. But anyways, we're gonna wrap up the podcast by telling our thoughts about Forza Horizon 5, and if you still have time, we can discuss about what we want for the future of Forza Horizon.
So we've gone through 4 different games now, leading us to the present day. What is your history with Forza Horizon 5, Faku?
Well, I remember Forza Horizon 5 being the first time I wasn't expecting a new Forza Horizon game on my own, because I had a group of friends that were looking forward to play the game, but I was looking forward to watch the game, you know? But watching the reveal trailer and discussing it in the old server with y'all was really special. Like, it's a time I still treasure with me because, like, it was exciting, you know? Like, seeing all the little new features that were either mentioned by the developers or just shown a bit on the gameplays, you know? Truly, I was expecting Japan, to be honest, because, like, yeah, they're gonna do Japan. But at the same time, I remembered that Jeff Grubb, he made it sound like he knew what was gonna be the place that Forza Horizon 5 was gonna be set in. And you could kinda see it in the Xbox Series X reveal trailer.
That was
you know?
crazy because
I remember that.
I thought when they did that trailer that, oh, it's just a generic representation of Forza, right? Like, that's just, it could be anything. But no, it was actually a teaser, and I couldn't believe people's conspiracy theories on that were right. I thought it was a bunch of horse shit, but they were right.
Yeah, like, I thought it was gonna be like some generic placeholder to showcase the power of the new console, and you can even see the cholla cactuses. Like the cacti. It's fantastic how they teased it ever since then. And when it was revealed it was gonna be in Mexico, I lost my shit because as a South American, we love representation, and when it's done right, it's way better. But it was cool to see Mexico, and that trailer was one of the best trailers for a racing game I've seen.
So when it comes to the reveal and release of Horizon 5, I remember my initial speculation behind the game was that there was no Horizon 5. I had followed Forza Motorsport 7 for many, many years through its update cycle, through when they were transitioning to start developing the new Forza Motorsport game after Motorsport 7. And the idea was that, okay, they revealed the new Forza Motorsport in 2020, therefore, since they're going to be doing a lot of upgrades to the Forza Tech engine, and Motorsport always comes technically before Horizon, that means the new Motorsport will be still a couple more years out, and then release, and then we're going to have a big, brand new Horizon as Horizon 5, since, the fifth one, it's kind of like it's a pretty big number 5, it's the middle of, 1 to 10. In terms of how it works with our brains. But so I figure that's gonna be a big deal. So they're gonna wait after Motorsport and spend so much time that it's gonna be a big deal. And I thought Horizon 5 was gonna end up releasing in 2024 or something, or maybe 2025. That was my initial thought. It was gonna be way after Motorsport, and I couldn't have been more wrong because when the leaks for Horizon 5 start to come out and say it was in Mexico and everything, I'm like, this is a bunch of horseshit. There's no way they could do this, based off of what I thought was a technical explanation, stuff like that from the Forza Motorsport perspective. But you realize that Forza really has freed itself from the shackles of Forza Motorsport, being Forza Motorsport as the core series.
Yeah.
Because Horizon is really on its own schedule at this point, because Horizon 5 was revealed in 2021. I remember Sushil, it was always a few seconds ahead, and he spoiled it, and I'm like, what the fuck? There's Horizon 5. It's a real game. And
yes,
it came up, and we saw the cactuses, and I'm like, holy shit, the graphical upgrade. Because
it's funny
when we first saw the graphics. First, I remember being so hyped for the trailer because at the time, I was just tired of Horizon 4, and I wanted to return to a more tropical environment. And I think that more exotic feeling that I always felt like Horizon had for a while, and Horizon 5 seemed to be returning from that from the trailer, and that's why I was so hyped. People in the comments why are you so hyped? It looks the same. It's yeah, it's because I wanted a return of that kind of environment, and that's what it looked like I was getting, and just stuff like that. I wasn't expecting a game at all, and we were getting something between now and the release of Gran Turismo 7, so there was some cool stuff coming within this 5-month period. But that led to the hype that I had for that trailer and for the game in general. I was really looking forward to it. And Initially, I wasn't planning on getting it at launch, but I actually was surprised. My mom had given me the Ultimate Edition of the game as a gift, and
Oh, sick.
so I was actually able to play it on release night, and I was so thankful for it. Yeah, it was just for a gift for something that had been going on for something I did. So that was just that was really cool. It really helped me out back then. So I definitely have a positive memory of Horizon 5's launch and lead up to release and stuff like that. And initial impressions were very positive. I mean, of course, there's always things that a game you're not going to be a fan of. But Horizon 5, I really enjoyed when I first played it, and my initial impression was that it was definitely better than Forza Horizon 4, and there are still some aspects that I do believe that are done better in Horizon 5 than Horizon 4. Immediately, I think the obvious factor to me is the progression and the fact that you weren't just given all of the showcase events immediately. They were actually spread out properly, like they should have been, and that was one of my big disappointments with Horizon 4 was that it wasn't spread out. But this time actually was with Horizon 5. I really liked that. Initially, I felt like Pulse was better in Forza Horizon 5, which I don't know if I agree with that anymore, but at launch, I did enjoy it more. Specifically, the Gorillaz song. I really liked the one that featured Beck, and that song's still really good.
The Valley of the Pagans.
Yeah, Valley of the Pagans. That one was good.
I'm going to elaborate on that further in a bit, but continue.
I do think Base Arena is just straight up better in Horizon 5 than it is in Horizon 4.
Oh, yes.
But it's kind of like a cyclical thing now that I look at it. Some stations in 5 are better. Some of them in 4 are better. They kind of like took the better ones of 4 and swapped them out in 5 with being the worst ones, if that makes sense of anything. But also, Eliminator was interesting. Eliminator was a bit of a different experience because they had actually designed the map for that game mode, which led to a very different experience because it's way more. You can really like go wild. You can go wild a lot more in Eliminator. Yeah, there's a lot less trees in your way and stuff like that. And then also the graphical improvements were honestly very noticeable. The Horizon 5 is actually a pretty big jump. That I remember when we first saw the gameplay, I thought this is next gen only. This looks next gen. I said that so many times in the trailer. This looks next gen because at that time it did, and in some ways it still does. If you play it on your Series X, your super high-end PC, stuff like that, play that game on maximum settings, and it still looks pretty dang incredible for the most part. And they actually had a lot of improvements from 4 graphically, specifically the amount of foliage and I don't know, I feel like the shadows off the cars look better, and the reflectiveness of the materials, like it just really led the new material system in Forza to look that much more realistic than before. Like they're really starting to hit more of that ceiling that they originally wanted, because when the new lighting and material system was introduced in Horizon 3, some people did note Horizon 3 looking a bit plasticky compared to Forza Horizon 2. And in some instances, I love 3, but at times I actually agree with that. And 5, I think, is the point where they have a new material system, but now they're starting to get over that at times plastic look. And it just, Horizon 5 is an incredible looking game, and the amount of foliage really helps it out. That's kind of my initial impressions of Forza Horizon 5. Now that the game has gone on, we've been playing it for 2 years now, right? Oh no, it's 2024. The game's 3 years old now, and we expected Horizon 6 to be revealed this year, but now we're having an even longer life cycle now for this game, and they've added some really interesting stuff. I think I really enjoy both expansions. I think they did a great job, and I think they're much better than Horizon 4's expansions. When it comes to the updates, I feel like the hide and seek mode is a little bit too much to explain compared to Eliminator, but it's got some fun aspects to it. It's interesting to see them add radio stations for free, like Horizon Wave, and then you have a lot of great Event Lab content, like the Event Lab Island, adding so many different props, stuff like that. I find the editor a little difficult to use for my own taste, but it's really cool to see different people's creations. So that's kind of like my consensus on Horizon 5 initial impression, and then the updates later on. And I do have some more opinions on the overall game itself, but I want to let you speak for a little bit of like what you thought when you initially played it versus what you thought now, even though you haven't played it as long as I have. Where do you want to go from this?
Yeah. Yeah, just remember, you're the guest. This is my podcast, okay? Nah, just kidding. But like, I remember that being excited about the game, and at the same time being kind of sad and bitter because I wasn't gonna be able to play it. But I was hopeful that I was gonna get a console to do it, and I did. But I remember looking at the graphics and thinking it was something finally new. Like, it seemed like a step forward when it comes to graphics and visual fidelity, and seeing stuff like the event lab being revealed, it was crazy. It was new, and I remember getting bamboozled so many times in that showcase because I remember seeing the beginning of the Microsoft Flight Simulator trailer and looking at the escapes, and I'm like, oh, this is Forza Horizon. No, it wasn't. Then, when they showed the rocks, the cactus, and all the trees, I was like, wait, this might be it. And then looking at the twisting roads, I was like, yeah, this is Forza Horizon. And then the AMG Project 1 just popped on the screen. That thing I will never forget. That is such an amazing car. It's so good, to be honest.
I don't think Horizon has had a bad cover car. They've definitely changed directions when it comes to cover cars, but they've never had a car that felt underwhelming or really like unfitting for a Forza game, you know?
Yeah, and the cover art for Forza Horizon 5 feels really artificial. It's good enough, but like, what scares me the most is that the next game will have the Forza Motorsport treatment with a cover. The Forza Motorsport reboot cover has some great cars, yet they made it look dull. So dull.
The problem is not that being the new Forza formula, because again, Horizon is operating on its own terms versus Motorsport, but rather it's a Forza Motorsport problem having no idea how to be creative with a realistic racing game anymore. Because if you look at I want you, Faku, right now, to Google the Forza Motorsport 7 cover art and realize how much more boring it is.
Yeah, I remember it. It had a lot of grays. It had a lot of grays.
It's just the Porsche 911 with a little bit of track and a white background. That's it. It's actually worse than Motorsport.
Yeah. It's just a wide palette of grays and whites. It's just bland compared to the cover for Forza Motorsport 6, which was blue. It was a shade of blue.
But it was also
which was orange.
It was also like it was also at night, which is really cool. Forza 6's, so you got like the light streaks in it and stuff like that. And then Forza Motorsport 5, they were showcasing the Belgium track, so you actually got to see the landscape properly. Like it was very, very, very clear, that landscape. They were proud of that track.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Horizon cover art, I wouldn't really be too worried for the next one. But I do agree that Horizon 5's does look a little bit more photoshopped. Obviously, every single cover art is photoshopped. Duh. But
like, Motorfest nailed it.
Oh, Motorfest did it way better than Horizon 5. Absolutely. Motorfest has great cover art.
But like, it's the least of my worries.
Yeah.
Obviously, I want the next game to be good. But that'll be the topic for the next... That'll be the next topic, basically. But I feel that that game felt like a huge leap when it comes to visual fidelity. And I don't think there's a better looking racing game. I have yet to play Gran Turismo 7 because that game looks like amazing. And Drive Club as well. But Forza Horizon 5 nailed the ambientation and the foliage, the rocks. All of it looks amazing. And I remember that sentence of them saying like, we rendered each individual needle on these cholla cactus. And I'm like, did they really do that? Like, feels like that's not a thing that they really did, but maybe they did. I have to see in the photo mode.
Playground games are big detail chasers. If you've like read some of their like behind the scenes articles of how they made like stuff like the skies for Horizon 3, you'll see that they have a huge knack for environment detail. So that doesn't surprise me at all.
It looks amazing. It's the best looking racing game I've ever played. For example, the first time I played Forza Horizon 5 was with my friend next to me, and he was just with his mouth agape. His mouth was agape, completely agape, because I was with the Bronco, the one with the like the 2069 number on the side,
Hmm.
and we went through the sand, and you could see the car covered in sand, and then I would drive it through water, and then I would park the car in the sand, and you would see the water just slowly drying. Like that that is something that blew my mind. Seeing the water in the car just slowly drying off and going back to getting dirty, or driving through rivers and seeing the drops of water react to the movement of the car and the wipers. That is something that is so tiny yet so great. Like I'm grateful to have those little details. Um, the reflections. Forza Vista looks amazing.
I feel like when it comes to details and visuals, I feel like probably the racing game scene right now is tied for three different games being the best looking. And I would say either between Horizon 5, specifically for its environment detail,
Hmm.
Drive Club for its special effects like its rain, motion blur, and other visual effects, and then Gran Turismo 7 for its environment lighting and vehicle model detail. I would say those three
Yeah,
games have the best of each thing, but none of them are the best in every single lane just yet.
yeah, true. Like Polyphony, I don't know how to pronounce it.
Polyphony.
Polyphony have like the cutting edge of technology. They can model a car easily. Like obviously they take their time to tune the tiniest details into the cars, but it's 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 an art on its own. Modeling a car, it's an art on its own.
Yeah, it
And
is. Gran Turismo easily wins in that category.
if any developer of any racing game is watching this that models cars or anyone like that, which is the chances are low, you're doing God's work. You're doing an amazing and a colossal work. Because I can't imagine being like stuck in modeling one car for such a long time.
Yeah,
It's a lot of work.
it really is a lot of work since I started to learn 3D modeling, 3D graphics. I really got the I really got reality slapped in my face for how hard these people work on this, and it's made me appreciate everything about video games that much more.
That game also has a great car list, like the best car list in a Forza Horizon game, in my opinion. It's really varied. It has something for everyone, basically, and that's something I appreciate. Even more the off road cars, the buggies, or the trucks.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, the supercars are fantastic. The classic cars, the quote unquote shit boxes, because everyone uses that term now.
I would agree that Horizon 5 does have the best overall car selection, and
Yeah,
the variety that they've
Motorfest
also
is
added.
close.
Motorfest is so good. Like Horizon 5, I think probably for overall, but Motorfest for its unique picks. You know,
Yeah, they have a fucking Lamborghini yacht. Where else do you see that? That is insane.
you don't. That's the
But
thing.
yes, and well, the car list, fantastic. 10 out of 10 on that regard. The soundtrack, it's okay. I think it's the weakest one in the franchise.
I probably have to agree with you on that one.
It has some good selections, but they're, for example, Pulse. It has some good shit. There's a couple gripes I have with that radio station. For example, Heat Waves by Glass Animals. They used a remix. I think if they used the OG version, it would have been better.
My problem with Horizon 5 soundtrack is that I feel like there's actually very few songs that I remember. Like
Yeah.
when I went to go remake my Spotify playlists lately, and for like my regular like daily listen playlist, I have like 720ish songs in there. I've have like a ton of songs from Forza Horizon 3 and Forza Horizon 1, but then when I even like a good amount from Horizon 4, but when I went to go to visit the Horizon 5 playlist to see what songs I wanted to add, I only added like 3. And it
Yeah.
was like that one song on Pulse that sounds like it's from Horizon 2, I Want You by Kid Mozzie or something like that. That one's
Oh,
good. And then you have the whatever it's called, like Night Remix by SG Lewis or something like that. That one's good. The Matt Zoe song is really good, and then I Rock You Leno remix. Those are the only like, and then Valley of the Pagans. Those 5 songs are like the main ones that I remember from Bass Arena and Pulse combined. And then the ones that I remember off the other stations mostly are like the bad ones. Like on XS, the main song that I remember, okay, Wild Child wasn't bad, but the main song I remember when I think of Horizon 5's XS is Karma the Knife, which is garbage. And then,
oh god,
and then when I think of the Block Party, I think of the Grubhub song, which is also kind of trash.
it's completely trash.
Horizon 5's Block Party is such a god-awful station. It's horrendous. It's just, I can't believe how much they massacred it. And
Yeah.
it's like, I know each Block Party has taken a hit, but the hit from 4 to 5's Block Party is just absolutely tremendous and the biggest fall off I think I've ever seen in the Horizon series when it comes to soundtrack. Like I said, in 3, amazing. 4, great. 5, garbage. It wasn't even good or okay. It went to straight garbage.
Yeah, and like continuing from Pulse, and my point is that you have the Valley of the Pagans from Gorillaz, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's from their 2020 album Song Machine, where each month of the pandemic they would like release a music video with a different artist and a song, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, there were better songs than Valley of the Pagans. Like, in my opinion. It's a good song, but you could have had something like Pac-Man, or there's so many. Désolé, that one's amazing, but Pulse is it's a shame to see it fall off like that. It has some good songs, but overall, the censorship is what kills it for me. You know,
That's another thing.
They butchered the songs. What other song is there? The one with the trumpets.
Yeah, I remember the one with the trumpets. I
Yeah.
never thought it fit Pulse very well, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, it's weird. And there's some. You know what I didn't like? No churches.
Yeah, that's another really strange admission. Since Playground Games have admitted that they have Churches fans there, and they were in 2, 3, 4, and they were considered like a staple band of the series. I've known people that like Churches, and then they went to go play Forza because they liked Churches, and then started like Churches after they played Forza. You know, I was one of the latter people. Like, I saw them live in like 2019. I have like some of their 3 of their albums on vinyl record. So clearly, these games are an entry point for people in the music, and then one of the central core bands that you remember for having in the game, they just got rid of for some reason when they released an album that same year.
Yeah, but like, Pulse is not even the worst part. Excess is the worst part.
I think Block Party is worse than Excess, but Excess is bad. There's no question.
Hear me out. They butchered the style of the songs.
Oh, I was gonna say Teardrops.
Teardrops as well. They butchered it. It's mostly censored, and
which then you ask, what's the point? What's the point? You could pick a rock song.
Instrumental.
Yeah, you either put the instrumental or use a rock song that doesn't have the same subject matter. You know?
Mm-hmm. And like, you know, there's the Do It Better by the blah blah blahs.
Don't remind me about that shit.
When they revealed the intro for the game, the cold open, I was like, hey, this song is amazing. But I hate it now completely. It's god awful, and it doesn't fit Excess. They should have put it in Pulse. That's
another thing with Horizon 5 soundtrack, is that while I felt 4's was a downgrade, I don't think there was any unfitting songs for any station, but Horizon 5 is full of that in spades.
Yeah, and Karma the Knife is a song I didn't really like. I was kind of getting into it, trying to see if I could get it, and you know, even they changed the radio host. Like, Angelica Garcia, the girl who sings Karma the Knife, is the host of Excess. And, you know, I was listening to Spotify doing a trip here, like going to another city, right? I was going to Temuco, and I was listening to my shuffle playlist in Spotify, and then Angelica Garcia popped up. It was a new song she released. It was so good! So much better! It's the thing is, they picked the worst songs from some good albums, but like, this new song that she put out was way better than Karma the Knife.
Some of the vibe that the Horizon 5 soundtrack gives me is that like they wanted to put in a bunch of artists that would get the thumbs up from people, but the actual execution of the song selection was not there at all.
Even Dua Lipa felt kind of weird, you know?
Yeah.
And what else?
It feels very, very phoned in, and that's where I think like a selection like Dua Lipa makes the game, and this is a much bigger point, makes the game feel way, way, way more like Microsoft has realized how commercially successful the Forza Horizon series is, and wanted to kind of cash in on that and bring in even more of that wider and mainstream audience to the game than before. So that's why it's like, fuck an indie station, we need a pop station with top 40 songs on it now, you know?
Yeah.
And it feels like that increasing commercialization and over friendliness that has kind of been an issue with Horizon 5 in terms of its like direction and like writing and stuff like that.
Yeah. And for example, there's some good ass songs in XS, like Trouble's Coming by Royal Blood, or Holding Poison by the Foo Fighters, or
that one's
Caution.
Way better.
Caution by the Killers.
Caution's great. Holding Poison's good, way better than the Foo Fighters song that was in 4, in my opinion.
La Di Da.
Yeah, that I never liked that song, but I do like Holding Poison. See, that's why I can already say I like 3 or 4 songs, you know, on XS. On Block Party, I can name 2.
Yeah, like the thing is, you have
3.
like 12 songs you can like from one radio station, but the remaining 8 or 9, they tear it down. You know?
Yes.
Like Sophie Tucker in XS, a rock station.
What the fuck?
What? Like she does great music. I know, but this freak, even though it has some like rock percussion and some guitars, doesn't make it rock.
It has a guitar, and that means it goes in XS. You know?
I don't know. Maybe it's my opinion, but like that doesn't fit. Sophie Tucker freak doesn't fit.
No,
and
it never did.
There's some good songs like by Technicolor Fabrics, Mejor que Nadie.
Yes, that song is very good.
It's like some sort of love song, and I was like, yeah, this shit bangs. This shit bangs. And then we have Bass Arena, which is an improvement from 4. Like, it was mostly Monster Cat. It should have been called Monster Cat Radio at this point.
That would have been cool. It would have been a record label station, you know?
Yeah. And, you know, then you have Timeless, which is there. Timeless is there. It's back.
Mm-hmm.
But Block Party,
garbage.
It's like, imagine like they revealed the soundtrack for Forza Horizon 6, all the radio stations, and the first thing you see is Big Freedia.
No,
nothing against her. I just don't like her songs.
We just don't like the music. We just don't like the music.
The music is not good. It's like Teche Maista? I don't know if that's the way to pronounce her name, but like, remember from Forza Horizon 3?
Yeah, that was like the only Block Party song I didn't like, and then she redeemed herself.
Chitty bang bang, chitty bang bang, chitty bang bang. I remember that. And she did Where's My Mind in Unbound. That song is fucking insane.
One of the best songs in Need for Speed Unbound.
Yeah, but that's another topic for another podcast.
Yeah.
Other episode of the podcast. But yeah, Block Party was butchered. They had some cool shit like Rocket Fuel by De La Soul. De La Soul are fucking amazing. Let me tell you that. They had Intergalactic by the Beastie Boys.
That was a really interesting pick. I mean, it made sense. It made sense. But I keep thinking of the Lego Movie 2 whenever I hear that song, because it was in the trailer.
I didn't know it was in there. I didn't know it.
It was in the trailer.
That's crazy. But like, my favorite song from Block Party definitely is Vamos by the Mexican Institute of Sound and Duckworth. Duckworth was in there.
No, that was Horizon 4.
No.
Oh, the other Duckworth song.
Yeah, with Mexican Institute of Sound. It has a Mexican beat, a Mexican instrumentation, and it's so fucking good. I predicted that song, by the way.
That Latinx beat, yeah, right.
I'm gonna fucking kill you. Anyways, I predicted that song, so they should hire me for the soundtrack curation. I should be the host. And
then I think we can round out the soundtrack by talking about, at least for the base soundtrack at launch, is I could talk about Hospital Records. So
Yeah.
Hospital does have good tracks as always, and many times it's still my go-to radio station. Skyscraping by Fred V, Turn Up by Whiny, and then new artists like Winslow with Midwest Shuffle. There are some great tracks on, and then the Unglued one, Magnetosphere. That one is so good for Eliminator and high speed racing. But I feel like the issue with Horizon 5's Hospital, while still having some good tracks, I feel like it's almost like it doesn't sound as mellow as Horizon 4's, but yet it feels worse for free roaming.
Oh shit.
That's how I would put it. And it's really hard to nail that down. I just don't think that, I think the tracks do sound more like Throwaways than 4's did, even if they might not be. And you know, I still like, what is it? Like I said, still some bangers, like Another Star by Makoto. But even tracks that aren't bad, like Trial Mountain by Makoto, which has a very ironic name. I feel like that track, it's not bad. It's just way too background-y. You know, it's not engaging enough. And when I say engaging, is that it doesn't need to sound like Showdown by Pendulum. You know, I just feel like there's not enough to the song, and I feel like that's the case with a lot of the tracks in Hospital for Forza Horizon 5, unfortunately. And
True.
I definitely feel like it's not a horrible station, but I do think it's a downgrade from Forza Horizon 4's Hospital. Now, what do we think about the post-launch stations?
I love Wave. It's amazing.
Wave ain't bad.
Yeah, like I used to listen to Dance with the Dead back in 2014. I remember that. My brother showed them to me, one of my brothers. And that was my phase of like synthwave music. And there's an Asphalt Overdrive song in there, which is fucking
cool.
Weird.
What? Really?
That's weird. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it plays when you're racing. It's insane. I love that radio. And that update for the... Bless you.
Thank you.
That 80s update was really fun because they also added the Hyundai Envision, which is my favorite car. And it's the icon of the podcast. It's the hero car of the podcast, basically. So...
Yeah, you have it all over the branding, that's right.
Yeah, and it's in my banner of my channel. Right now it has the Chromacopia branding because I was celebrating the release of that album. Like, I don't know when this is gonna come out, but it's gonna be really dated because
yeah.
At this moment, Chromacopia is like a week and a half old, and it's so good. But yeah, I have the Hyundai Envision in the banner of my channel, and it's such a cool car.
It is. I wish I got it. It'll hopefully be in Backstage pretty soon. But
yeah, they're doing Backstage.
When it comes to Wave, I think for a free post-launch station, I think it's great.
Yeah.
For really great, just like general driving vibes, I think it's well done. But I do feel like it doesn't feel like the same amount of, I guess, care went into it as the other stations. I feel like there's not enough variety. Like, it is a little one note to me, even though I still do enjoy the general sound.
You know what it is?
There's not any vocals. That's what it is.
Yeah, in my case, I think it is like you're in the festival. Imagine you enter the festival and you have like these 4 main radio stations, and then you're meant to listen to those 4. But Wave kind of feels like you shutting off those radio stations and just putting music from your phone. It feels like that.
I think that's exactly what it was made for. I think it was made for the people that were sick that were sick in the main soundtrack, and like for years they've had waves of comments that are like, put in the synth music, and we need the synth wave genre. And
Eurobeat.
That I hope they never listen to the Eurobeat comments, but the synth comments made more sense. But I feel like that was them giving into those comments. But was Kavinsky in the wave station? Because good God, that would have been perfect.
I think he was. Hold on, let me look it up.
I don't remember ever hearing Kavinsky in the station. Because
if I find...
I need to hear Night Call in a racing game already.
Yeah. Horizon Wave. If I find the name of the song from Asphalt Overdrive, I'm gonna tell it to you. Like right now. They have a song called Iteration by Com Trues.
What is it with the
Dance
backwards
with the
EDM
Dead.
artist names like Mort Fustang?
Yeah, Mort Fustang. They didn't have Kavinsky, sadly.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I never heard Kavinsky. I would have told it immediately.
Like, the thing is, I finished the game, I got all the achievements. What happened? They dropped hide and seek with new achievements. Fucking hell. I will talk about it later, but in conclusion, I think Horizon Wave is a pretty cool radio station. It was a genre they never touched in the past, and I think that's cool. And I would give it a 7.5 out of 10.
But what do we think about Epitaph?
Oh, Epitaph. Now we're talking. Like, didn't they add that with the Sierra Nueva expansion?
That was indeed the same update. And Epitaph, I would have to say, is a toss-up. Because on one hand, like half the track list feels like really cultured. It feels authentic, raw. It reminds me of Horizon 3's, and it's not good just because it reminds me of Horizon 3's. But Horizon 3's was very good, and it's half of it echoes the same thing. But then the other half of it is like kind of like pop infused and just kind of weird. Like it's a toss up, but there's some good stuff on there.
Yeah, and then we have Rewind.
No,
Horizon
it's actually
Rewind.
Horizon mixtape, actually.
I'm a fucking idiot. Why did I say Rewind? What the fuck?
Yeah, and you were very certain about it too.
Yeah, what the hell? I'm gonna cut that out. But like, Horizon Rewind. It was
Mixtape. That's the second time you just corrected yourself.
Fucking hell. Horizon mixtape. I think if they handed me the job, and I didn't even play any of the Forza Horizon games, and I picked songs randomly, I would have done a better job.
I mean, they have a few tracks, but yeah, the overall selection is very, very missing. And I understand they can't get everything back, but
yeah, of course.
There were some things that were more in their control that didn't even make any sense. Yeah, I feel like mixtape is it's all right, but I definitely feel like the station should have focused most on the first 3 games, especially Forza Horizon 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Considering 4 was still like, listed and playable and everything.
You know what I fucking hate about that radio station?
What?
Every time I switch to it, Fly by Marshmallows.
I know,
playing.
that's what I'm saying. Why did they add that in? It's not even like one of the fan favorite songs from Horizon 4. It doesn't make any sense.
Who the fuck remembers Fly?
To me, it just gives vibes of like we still had the rights to this song and we can easily put it in 5 because of our agreements. Yeah. So that's what we did. For a thing to add in a free update, it's very cool. But
yeah,
for an anniversary celebration thing, it definitely could have been better.
Yeah, true. Like the anniversary throwback was amazing. Honestly, they did a great job, and it kind of felt fan servicey. But come on, it's the 10th anniversary.
Yeah, I mean that's literally it has to be that.
Yeah, and overall the soundtrack is really hit or miss. You might enjoy it if you're in the mood. I still wish they had an exclusive Mexican radio station, like, I don't know, Arts and Crafts or something like that. Because it's something that was present in Horizon Australia. You had Future Classic that focused on Australian artists, and I discovered Jaguar Ma with that. And honestly, there's so many ways to put Mexican music in a radio station that can feel very organic. But yeah, the soundtrack is very hit or miss, and in that aspect I would give it a 6, honestly.
It's hard for me to rate something as wide with that soundtrack, but I have to say I do think it is probably the weakest out of all the Horizon games.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the one that I kind of go to turn off the quickest. So we've talked about the soundtrack for a while, but I think there's an interesting element of Horizon 5. And this can go to a lot of different directions, but I kind of feel like Playground Games was trying to focus more on its location this time around more than any other Forza Horizon game. Because you saw Horizon Mexico, welcome all that, to Horizon Mexico, and all the little bits of Spanish language and stuff like that. And I noticed it seemed like they had to feel way more cautious with themselves with their first time entering, on the surface, a very like non-white country, and it's almost like
You know why?
they felt very afraid to do it. That's how
You know why?
that's the vibe I get. What?
You know why? They took extra care because, at the same time, the biggest market for Xbox is Mexico. I thought about that, and I'm like, this makes perfect sense, because Mexicans love Xbox. They love PlayStation. But they grew up with Xbox. And I know that having many Mexican friends that grew up with Xboxes, playing Halo, or Forza Horizon, Forza Motorsport, Gears of War, and one of the biggest markets besides the US for Xbox is Mexico, so I'm sure they took a lot of care with that. And Mexico was kind of trendy back then, because remember Coco?
Yeah.
Well, I remember making a joke about that with Forza Horizon 5 and Coco. I don't know what it was, but Mexican culture is something so rich and so broad that you can simply tackle it all at the same time. It's hard to do. And even though I like the way they try to appease to the culture, I think they bastardize it a bit.
I feel like my problem, knowing like me partially being in a Hispanic family in a city with a lot of Hispanic people, a lot of Hispanic cultural roots, the fact that I know I don't live in Mexico, but I do live above it, is the fact that I live in Texas, which is above it, so there's going to be a lot of that influence there. Is the fact that you're in Mexico and everyone is fucking British. I don't understand. It's one of my biggest problems with the game. Why am I forced to be British? Why are most of the cast members British? I understand. Canonically, they were bringing people over from Horizon 4. Who wanted all the characters from Horizon 4 back? Who asked for this? And in Mexico, when you're trying to walk on eggshells so we can appeal to the Mexican culture and not piss them off, and you manage to piss everybody off by making everybody British. I don't get it at all.
But yeah, the characters and the dialogues are some of the weakest parts of the game. I don't know, I don't like doing shit and being called a superstar every moment, or just... The worst part was when I was completing the expeditions, and like I would complete one and I would just drive around, and then the game would pause and break any combos I was doing just for Haley to tell me, "Hey superstar, you unlocked something here. Can I follow your balls for a second, superstar?" Fuck off, please. Fuck off. I don't like that.
I definitely agree that the superstar thing is pretty cringe, because they do it from the very beginning of the game, and I understand it canonically, because you were already the best in Horizon 4. So
you won it like 3 times in a row.
So you're just the best driver out there going to this new festival. So obviously people are going to cheer you on. It makes perfect sense. But everyone consistently calling you superstar, and also again, who asked for a continuation of Forza Horizon 4? No one.
But yeah, moving to the last point of Forza Horizon 5, the map and the gameplay loop. What do you think of it?
I feel like on the surface, I really liked the map at first, simply because it was more diverse in biomes in Horizon 4, because I loved the diverse biomes in Horizon 3. And so when I played Horizon 4, at first, that, of course, felt like it was missing. Over time, I got more used to the Horizon 4 map and realized this was meant to be a little bit more err on the realistic side. Feels a little bit more comforting, a little more stable, a little more home-like. And I started to really appreciate the map more, especially with the stronger roads and elevation that it had versus Horizon 3. It has some of the best roads in the series, Horizon 4, and just some really great elevation and mountains. Horizon 2 is still my number one for that, but Horizon 4 did a great job. But then when I saw the Horizon 5 map for the first time, I'm like, damn, we're going to get biomes back and all this great stuff, hopefully with the level of road quality and elevation that we got from Forza Horizon 4. And I feel like in some ways we did, because we still had the beaches, we had a jungle, and then we had, a small little city town area. But the problem is when you make the majority of a map just a flat desert, it feels like it's like 50% of the map, if not more. And it's just boring to look at. It's boring to drive through. And it's not like there aren't good parts in the map. They have the cool stadium. There's some cool roads in Guanajuato. There's some great parts in the jungle. The big bridge with like the off-road area under it. That's very cool.
Yeah.
And I feel like there are definitely quality parts to the map, but I feel like everything is so spread out way too much to give room for the Eliminator. And ironically, by designing the map for the Eliminator, I think they made Eliminator a smoother experience, but one that was much less risky than Horizon 4, which I think made the game, I guess, feel a little more strategic. But because you didn't run the trees as much, there's a lot less bullshit moments, which in some ways is why Horizon 4's Eliminator was kind of fun, But ironically, to add even more to that point, was the fact that, in my opinion, I played so much of Horizon 4 for its off-roading and custom events and stuff like that, and I made so many off-road custom routes. But in Horizon 5, I barely did that. Because in Horizon 4, it felt like there was a lot more cool little dirt trails. In Horizon 5, I don't know, everything just looks like the same desert. And I feel like the vision of the idealized version of X Place was fully thrown out the window with Forza Horizon 5. Because they just got the boring part. It's like, I feel like under the original ideas of the Horizon series being a very cool, idealized, fictionalized version of a real-life location, wouldn't have approved this map with just endless desert in the middle. I don't know. I just think a lot of it's really, really boring.
Yeah, like, in my case, it feels really sterile. Like, in a desert, you can see, like, cactus or bushes or rocks, stuff like that,
Woo!
Like,
let's go!
Not visually stimulating.
Yeah.
What happened?
I was saying, woo, let's go. You can see, some cactus and some rocks and some sand. It's very, very cool. But yeah, you're right. It's absolutely not visually stimulating.
Yeah, and like, I remember playing a map on Event Lab that made the desert so much cooler. It had some industrial areas, some factories and all that. And I was like, this is what it needed. More props, something to give more life to the desert,
Yeah,
like
the desert area just doesn't have any life and it feels like it's half the map.
There are some good parts of the map, like Baja California, La Gran Caldera, Dunas Blancas, the stadium, Oxmal, the drag strip, like the abandoned airfield. That is amazing, honestly.
Oh yeah, the airfield's awesome,
thing
especially with the jump at the end. Yeah.
Yes. But a thing I absolutely hated was how the season system was implemented.
Yeah, it's
It
there
doesn't
for
change
live
a
service.
thing.
Yeah, but it doesn't visually really do anything. Because
You
I
know,
remember
like,
during
one
Horizon
thing I
4's
noticed-
sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I remember during Horizon 4's
No,
life
go.
cycle, people had complained about the season system that, like, okay, seasons shouldn't be a thing. One, because we don't like the snow because we can't drive our supercars in snow. And two, because we don't like the live service system and we want to get our cars without FOMO. So what do? They take the season system, get rid of the cool part because it looked different, but keep the part people didn't want by keeping in the live service FOMO system.
There are some noticeable changes where you have to remember the map really well to notice the details. For example, I think summer was the dry season, so a lot of rivers around the map were completely dry. Even the dam, that had a lot of water during the first 2 seasons, and the remaining 2 seasons, it was completely dry and without water. So that is one of the things that you could notice, as well as more flowers in one part of the map or less flowers. I think it also didn't make sense to just put the snow on the top of the volcano, like the Great Caldera, and I don't know, it's so complex. They picked a country where it doesn't snow to implement the seasons.
Yeah,
And-
well, I think the thing is that I feel like there's two different design mentalities at play at Playground with this game. Because originally with Horizon, like I said, it was the fictionalized, idealized version of a place. But then Playground, more and more over time, like I said, they've been getting super detail obsessed about their maps, doing every little thing they can, like getting their sky rig to record the actual skies in FH3 and FH5, and do like these crazy 10K panoramic scapes that go into the game, and that's why they have real clouds, and then doing all the needles on the cacti and all that kind of different stuff. So if they made it actually snow in Mexico with the lakes drying up, that would have driven them fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, do you want the fictionalized version, or do you want this super down to the every detail realistic thing? Because if you have every down to the detail realistic thing, and then you make it snow in Mexico, then people are gonna be like, ha ha ha, why does it snow in Mexico? This game makes no sense. Ha ha ha. You know.
Yeah, I get that. But yeah, anyways, the map is sterile. It's really flat. Even though they said it has elevation, it does have some of the biggest elevation I've seen in a Forza Horizon game. The volcano, the jumps are insane. But, you know, it doesn't feel...
It doesn't spread across that whole map very well.
It feels like several spots scattered really far from each other, and them trying to connect them, and being like, fuck it, let's add just desert in the middle. That's it.
It kind of feels like, you know how, like, as a kid on a sandwich, how like a lot of kids like to take the crust off of a sandwich. Like, imagine if the crust was the good part, and then the bread was the bad part. That's how Horizon 5's map feels.
I could see that. I was trying to understand the analogy really hard, but I think I can get it. But yeah, I think this map is the weakest one out of all the games, because it doesn't feel really good to drive, and I'm betting my ass that they removed the cars and coffee spot in there. Did they?
Yeah, they've been doing all the cool post-launch stuff of adding stuff to the map, but then they don't keep it, and I feel like if they kept more of that stuff, then it would make the map more populated and lively, and make the desert less sterile. However, do we agree on this? That the coolest part of the map is the very up north area, with all the rocks and the big hills and valleys and stuff like that, where the Horizon Rush Festival is, that whole top north part, do we agree that's the best part of the map?
It's a really good part. Is it the part where the train goes on?
Yes.
Like, yeah, I remember that part. Yeah, it's a nice mix of like kind of foresty place with rocks and hills and valleys and lakes.
It feels like,
and it's a really good part.
It feels like it has like the puddles and stuff like that you can like drive over and be in water of like Horizon 4. But then it's got like the rocks of Forza Horizon 1, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, when it comes to the map, I definitely gotta agree with you. I think this is the worst one in the series.
Yeah,
definitely.
And the city pains me the most. Guanajuato is a beautiful place, but I think if they added another city that was more modern, it would have been better. But I could see how it was impossible to implement, because this looks like more of the outskirts of Mexico rather than the heart of the city, you know?
Yeah, Forza doesn't really like to do hard to say stuff. They've been really into these country maps with the last couple of games. I see more and more people giving backlash against these maps, so maybe they'll go back to the Forza Horizon 3 style of map next time. And even Forza Horizon 2, where we got like a good mix of new and old, or like a really good like focus on the new, especially with a younger audience that's more into these games that might want something more like that. Because most of them don't live in these areas of these countries, so they want something that, like, I don't know, feels more relevant to them, which, whether that's a good argument or not, I don't know. But I think they'll probably bounce back for the next game, considering the last two have had very old cities and, you know, countryside locations. But what do we think of the maps in the expansions, though?
I forgot the name. Sierra Nueva? Was it Sierra Nueva?
Yes.
Or something like that? Well, I love that map.
Yeah, that excellent map. I think the off-roading, like, I feel like the elevation is what the original map should have had. That's what I was picturing. Those big sweeping like hills and stuff like that. It's awesome to drive on. The routes are a lot more exciting. You can make more cool off-road stuff. Even the cross country is more fun in the base game. That's exactly what the desert area. Get rid of most of the desert in Horizon 5 and replace it with the kind of stuff that we see with the Sierra Nueva map. And Horizon 5's map would have actually been really good. That's how I think of it.
And this is either gonna sound really fucking stupid or make perfect sense to you, but the open world in Rally Adventure feels like what a Dirt 2 open world will be like.
I can understand it
Yeah, it feels
to an
like
extent.
the environment looks like something straight out of Dirt 2, in my opinion. And it's basically desert, but they make it feel so organically good, as if it was like a Dakar stage.
Well,
And
yeah, it feels way more like badass and like cool and like I don't know. It's got way more of an edge to it than the original map, because the original map, like I said, it feels like the realistic, like sterile version. But then you have Sierra Nueva, which is just that's it's like you have Daniel and you have the cooler Daniel. You know, like the meme.
yeah, literally. But yeah, that expansion I had a lot of fun with. It was, bless you, it was like playing a sequel to the Forza Horizon 1 Rally expansion in a way. And the, what's it called? The Ford F-150 Blue Lightning? It was called like
Lightning.
that, right? Just Lightning?
Hmm.
I love that car. It's so fun to drive. It was so good to do the stages with that car after that, and honestly, I found myself repeating some of the courses over and over again.
Yeah, they're actually really well designed. Like, I feel like Horizon 4 and 5 have kind of had this issue where some of the courses can feel quite sterile. And I'm like, when did Playground forget to design a track? And Sierra Nueva, I think, fixed that. Because it's like, there's still parts of those tracks that I remember. And it's like, that's when you know you did it right.
Exactly. But yeah, that expansion was really sick. And then we have the Hot Wheels expansion.
Which, originally, I thought Horizon 3 was the best one. And it still might be. But when I was playing Horizon 5 Hot Wheels the other day, I was like, holy shit. I forgot how hard this map went. It is nuts. It is the craziest, most out there, wild, fictional Hot Wheels thing in a Hot Wheels game, racing game, that I've ever seen. Like, when you're in that foresty biome and your car is like going under the waterfall and you can see the mist, and then at night when the lights turn on, and shit like that, and then like you're on like the outskirts and then you're literally above the clouds. It's just the craziest thing ever. And I kind of discounted the map originally because I thought Horizon 3 was so cool of being over the water and going through the cityscape, and it's awesome. But it feels like the baby version in terms of the actual map, like routes and design, compared to Horizon 3. It feels very beta in comparison, for lack of a better word, in my opinion.
I could see that. Forza Horizon 3's Hot Wheels, I think it's still my favorite because, it's the vibe that the expansion gave you.
Yeah.
Fives has a very different vibe to it. It's more of an adventure one, in the wild, in the forest, in the snow, in the lava, in the canyons. It's a really good way that, I don't know how they design all of this and make it make sense. And having the central hub as all the pathways crossing and then just joining at the hub, that's amazing.
Oh
And
my gosh, it's so cool. Yeah,
it's
I think I might agree with you that Horizon 3's has the cooler vibe of like the Hot Wheels like island, but I don't know, the route in 5, I feel like the track design is better and there's just more cool set pieces, like that hub. And then there's the freaking like waterfall track where you're like going down with the water through like the blue course. I'm like, that's one of the coolest, most imaginative things in a Forza game. Like, more developers need to copy that shit, in my opinion. It's too good.
Yeah, I love the landslide tracks, and honestly, like, even though Forza Horizon 3's map for Hot Wheels was really good, they took it to another level with 5. Like, with the tracks just going downwards and on a spiral, that shit is just insane. And every time you would, like, go through how do I say this? When you went downhill on a track, and the game would just, like, take the HUD off and just make it go slow-mo, I was a fan when that was happening.
And
I
then,
love that.
If you ever notice, when you go through the wind tunnels that are near the hub of the map, the HUD shakes like it never has before.
Yeah, I that was my favorite part about that map. Like, going...
Yeah, the sense of speed is awesome on that map.
It's so good. But yeah, my final verdict for that expansion is a 9 out of 10. it was a pain to complete 100% because you had to do like rivals for each and every one of the tracks you already played. So
Oh,
yeah, it
true.
was it was a pain, but I
Yeah.
loved it.
Yeah, I
And
really enjoyed both of Horizon 5's expansions overall.
yeah, what is your final verdict on Forza Horizon 5?
Specifically, I'm going to be very specific about this one. I think Horizon 5 is a 7 out of 10 base game, and then an 8 out of 10 with the expansions and updates.
I would have to agree with that. Like, in my case, Forza Horizon 5 is an 8. Just base game, it's an 8.
Mm-hmm.
With expansions, 9. No, too much, 8.5.
Yeah, I can understand that rating.
Yeah, so basically, Forza Horizon 1 is a 10, Forza Horizon 2 is a... I think it was a 7.5 out of 10, 3 was a 9.5 out of 10, 4 was an 8.5 out of 10, and this is an 8 to me. So, that's my ranking.
For me, it's going to be Forza Horizon 1, going to be a 10 out of 10. Forza Horizon 2 at launch, when I was playing it the most and the online systems were up, would have been 8.5. Nowadays, it's a 7 out of 10. Then Horizon 2 on Xbox 360 is a 4 out of 10. Heck, maybe even a 3 out of 10. Who knows? But when it comes to Forza Horizon 3, I'd give it a 9 out of 10. Forza Horizon 4, I would give a 7 out of 10. And then Horizon 5, I would also give a 7 out of 10 with an 8 out of 10 with its expansions and updates.
Yeah, that's a pretty good ranking.
That's the Forza Horizon series. Yeah, that was awesome. I really enjoyed rating all those and going over everything.
Yeah, and we're heading to the last topic of the podcast because
Oh.
holy shit, I think this one is gonna be 3 hours long when I edit it. Holy shit.
I didn't think we were gonna end up going this long, but it turns out the Forza Horizon series can really get you talking a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much to each game in the series. They all feel massive in their own way. There's so much to talk about.
Yeah, that's what makes it special because like if that franchise disappeared like Burnout did or Motorstorm did, you would feel the emptiness.
No,
you know?
I can't imagine the current racing game scene without Forza Horizon. It absolutely shaped what it is today. No question.
Yeah, no doubts about it. But the ending topic I wanted to talk about, which is really interesting, is what would you like to see for the next Forza Horizon game? And what would be the pitch for it? And I want to start this one because I have a good one, I think.
Okay.
So, according to the rumors, whether if the game is in Germany or Japan or South Africa or Brazil or wherever the fuck, I think they're gonna nail it.
There's always a set of like 4 locations for each game. Every time in Japan is always one of them that people theorize. I don't know if you remember this, but one of the theorized locations for Horizon 2 was, Louisiana, and then for Horizon 3 it was Japan, and then for Horizon 4 it was Japan and Dubai, and then for Horizon 5 it was Japan again.
Yeah, and honestly, I would like it to be in Japan, but if it was in Germany, I wouldn't mind, And my pitch for the story of the game would be that you're the underdog, again. You're the underdog in the festival. Everyone's a fucking asshole to each other, and, you have to face against the final boss. Many bosses, just like Forza Horizon 1. And you know who the final boss is?
Who?
You. The boss from the previous 4 games.
Okay, that was boring. So you just went Horizon 1 again. That was boring until you told me that. Now that would be such a mindfuck. They'd never do it. But that's actually kind of cool though.
Yeah, I think that if you played the underdog and you were trying to beat yourself from the previous 4 games, the boss, I think it would be a sick ass twist.
That's unimaginably cool. That is so good. Imagine at the end of that you beat the boss and then you get the option afterward to re-import your entire car collection from your previous games.
That would be cool, but the concept I was thinking about is you reject being the boss. You just want to be the underdog. That's it. You don't want to be the boss.
But if they rejected it, that means it would be a canonical continuation from Forza Horizon 5, and we don't want that. I want a refresh,
If it was... I would rather be the underdog for the next few games rather than the boss Oh, look at
Yeah.
the boss. I think that's the way I would put it.
The only time the boss worked was 3 because there was actual game mechanics around it.
Yeah, the festival leveling, that was so good, by the way. But yeah, I think that would be the perfect pitch for a sequel to this, facing yourself. And I would love for it to like focus more on the characters and the festival, you know? The cars there too. But like to make it like I want world building in there, you know? They try to do it in 5 and it felt shoehorned in. But in this place, I want it to feel like a festival again, like in Forza Horizon 1. And, you know, with the trailers parked on the side of the road where you can sign up for events and all that.
Trust me, I want all those same festival things too, but we also have to think of a way that this new game would differentiate itself from just being, oh, we made it good because we brought in all the things that made Forza Horizon 1 good. How do we make the new Horizon good while bringing back those things at the same time? You have to.
Don't worry.
I think you have to kind of have both.
Don't worry. I thought about it. I would make it as well have a car PG focus on it as well. Like a skill tree, like a more complex skill tree. Like, you know the skill tree in Forza Horizon 2, 3, and 4, and 5? You know those ones?
Yeah, I think the thing is maybe not even more complex, but I think what they need to do is make the skill tree actually matter.
That's the thing. Like, to make it have cool things, like, oh, you want fast travel? You gotta earn it. So, that's like, basically, in my imagination, one of the final skills you unlock. Because incentivizing you to roam around the map and learning the places, learning it in, like, the palm of your hand, that's what made Forza Horizon 1 good to me. Like, it didn't rely a lot on fast traveling. And to get fast travel, you had to pay.
You had to buy a DLC for it, which they get cooked for today.
Yeah, and honestly, I wouldn't make the map 1.5 sizes bigger than 5 or 2 sizes bigger than 5. I would make it smaller.
You make it smaller?
And more. Yeah, hear me out. I would make it a bit smaller, but way more condensed, you know? To have amazing skates everywhere you watch, you know? Like, this is an impossible dream, but imagine just like the Sleeping Dogs map, where you have the city, you have the forests, you have the lakes, the coast, and all condensed in a city that was not much bigger than Forza Horizon 2. And I would make the map smaller, but add a lot of verticality to it as well.
I don't think you need to make the map a lot smaller to do that. You know what you do? Is you take a better approach than Horizon 5 did with the desert. Like, especially something like a Germany or just somewhere else in Europe, you can have a lot of big like mountains and like green hills and stuff like that as your cross-country areas. And then with like basically use that as your blueprint. And then set up towns and cities in little bits of the map. So basically we can cross-country our way to these different parts of the map. And those don't have to be filled with tons of detail, but they can still be used for our routes. And then you can put a ton of detail into these pockets of the map. That's how I think of it in an idea way, you know?
I was gonna mention that. Like, I would love to have a part of the countryside where it was teeming with life. Bushes, trees you could break, all that, props. And I'm thinking of Japan at the moment, right? I would also add something close to the Caldera volcano. I would add Mount Fuji into it.
Oh my gosh, that'd be absolutely insane.
That would be cool. And, you know, have the most condensed city, have countryside teeming with life, bushes, trees, little houses, little villages, and Mount Fuji next to it.
For me,
if I had free time, but like, if I had a lot of free time, I would sketch the map up to let you know how it would look. But the last thing I want to add is I would add verticality in the cities as well.
Yeah,
like,
for Japan, I think that might work.
You know, like, remember the first races of the Crew 2, where you would, like, jump on ramps and race on a couple of the buildings?
Yeah, but that's more akin to Midnight Club.
Well, I would do that for Forza Horizon 5. Imagine just racing and just jumping through a ramp and just racing in a couple of the buildings and then just going back down.
I feel
I
like
think
if
that
they
would.
were very carefully set up and it was like a stadium truck event with like a bunch of like Horizon branding on it, like it felt like a really like big race event, then it could work. If it's just if it's like a half-ass thing like the crew felt, the crew 2 felt like, then I probably wouldn't want it.
No. Hell no. The Crew 2 is the. Oh, it's so boring. How they implemented the events. It's supposed to be a festival. Anyways, it's just. I don't know. I would find a good way to implement the festival, like pamphlets, signs, air balloons, fucking real sponsors, like fucking car part brands, all that. Even the garages. In Forza Horizon 2, 3, 4, and 5, they all feel like futuristic auto shows and all that. But in the first one, it feels like a real garage. It's weird, but that's just my point of view. I just like a grounded festival rather than a fantastic one. They can do a really cool, fantastical map if they wanted to, and I wouldn't mind. And honestly, this is my pitch for the story and the map a bit. And the game loop, I wouldn't think about it yet, but it's something that I have to have a good amount of free time to think about. And if they do it in Japan, Brazil, Africa, Dubai, Germany, whatever the fuck, I'm gonna eat it up because it's Forza Horizon we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But I think
Yeah,
the
like
biggest thing I
it's
talked
good.
about is the story.
It's gonna be good unless it's on Xbox 360. Then it's not gonna be good.
It's not gonna be good.
Yeah, if they try to port it to a previous gen. But for me, Forza Horizon, I would actually prefer it in the other rumored location, which is Germany, because the German Forza account opening before the Xbox showcase, which was horseshit. But I still think that could potentially happen. We could get Forza Horizon in Germany. I think Germany would fit Forza Horizon in its playstyle more than Japan would, especially with their more recent countryside focus. And with with like different towns in Germany, I think it would look amazing with the like Forza visuals and the way they build their maps. I would love to have Germany, and I think Forza Horizon would be the only game that would do it. And I think it would just fit the series more than Japan would. And I also feel like Japan is possible by other racing games like The Crew or Need for Speed. I feel like they could do Japan themselves. So Forza, I think, should do Germany, because I don't see Germany, the other ones doing it, but I see Forza doing it. So that's why I have that viewpoint.
So that sounds like a cool, pitch or idea for the next game. Do you have anything like about this story thought of, or just a location and all that?
I haven't really thought anything about the story. I mean, obviously, I would like more festival elements. I would like the Horizon 1 stuff back. I don't expect it back, but I'm going to enjoy the game regardless if they bring it back or not. But bringing back more of that immersive atmosphere, either way is fine. Like, if they bring it back, that's freaking awesome. If they don't bring it back, fine, I will still enjoy it.
Yeah. That story I just told you about made me want to do a concept video for it. It just sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazingly ridiculous. That's how I would put it.
Like, oh, you're a new character. They're talking about this boss or something like that. Turns out it's you. It's just you from the previous games. And it's just, so it's a good twist. But yeah, I would love to implement that in the future in a project or something like that.
Maybe, yeah. So, that was quite the podcast episode. Do we have anything else to say about the series?
Forza Horizon is a franchise that actually, believe it or not, has made me stay here alive with y'all, and it brought so many good memories, and alongside it, many good friends, and I wouldn't change that for anything. Forza Horizon is one of the most special franchises, and I still have it here. I know you're not watching, but I'm tapping my heart right now. Forza Horizon is that special, and if it left, you would feel the emptiness. But yeah, I think Forza Horizon is one of the best things to ever happen to the racing game scene.
Yeah, I feel like right now it is such an important franchise, and it changed everything so much. Like you said, it wouldn't be the same if it were gone. And the only thing I have to say for the next game that I think is actually the most important is just bring back like one or two brand new gimmicks. In 2, you had the new dynamic weather system. You had the more roamable map with the off-road fields. and you had a new online system. In Horizon 3, you had the Horizon Blueprint feature, and being the boss with the upgrades. And then in Horizon 4, you had the season system and character customization. In Horizon 5, they have Event Lab, and Event Lab's great, but it's not really usable by everybody. So that's why Horizon 5, I think, felt the most samey to the other games. And the main thing that I hope for is some really awesome, big new feature or two that really differentiates the game from the previous one, which I think they will bring in, but we'll see how it does. And regardless, I'm looking forward to it, since I was hoping for the game to come out this year, but it's looking like it's going to end up next year.
Yeah, I still feel betrayed by that show. Like, that showcase in June this year was
Awful.
so awful. It has some good-ass reveals, but it feels like a stab in the back. Like, we were expecting Forza Horizon 6 to be the mic drop, but it was
Yep.
Gears of War.
Yeah,
And
it
it's
was
still an
Gears of
amazing
War.
reveal. It's an amazing reveal regardless. But we were expecting Forza Horizon 6. So, hopefully, next year, whether it's Germany, Japan, whatever the fuck, I know they're gonna nail it, and I hope it comes out next year, actually.
I think it
Anyways,
probably will, but yeah, regardless, that's Forza Horizon.
that's Forza Horizon for you. Anyways, I want to thank my guest for joining in today's really long episode.
Ooh.
Jake did it again. This is gonna be the godfather of podcasts. You know, it's gonna be like 3.5 hours long, and then I'm gonna drop the 5-hour cut on Patreon. Thank you for watching until the end, and I hope you enjoyed this really long-ass, godfather-esque podcast. Go follow Jake Did It Again, go follow his channel, and go watch his videos, and remember, the team rules.